Welcome to the Indie Quarter After Dark. We're not only talking about all things independent comics, but everything comics. I'm Mikey.
I'm Rebecca.
And today, people, we're back at it again with another episode of the Indie Quarter After Dark, episode 23. Can you believe, Rebecca, we did 23 of these already?
That's didn't think we made weird.
It's weird, right? It just hit me just now. Just like we've done 23 of these. It just feels like, you know, we do it so often. It's just like it didn't hit me that we did 23 already. So, yeah, we're back at it again with a new episode because the last time we did one was during the me, Seamus, and Storm talk about the Oscars, which was fun. We gave some accolades, we talked shit, got out of our system, which was nice. But yeah, we're gonna be doing the typical news format today because I don't know if we haven't done those in a while, and I think Rebecca seems to like doing those better than the regular just reviews and stuff.
I don't have to prep anything usually for these videos.
Yeah. True. I mostly do all the prepping because I find topics and stuff like that. But yeah, people, we're just gonna get right into it. And because we got we got a lot to cover. A few small topics that we're gonna get out of the way first before going through our main topics. So obviously, if you look at the thumbnail and title for the video, you kind of get the idea of where we're gonna be going towards. So yeah, we'll just get right into it. So Rebecca, the first topic that I want to talk about real quick, right? So I heard about this morning on comicbook.com because I followed them on IG, and I saw a little interview from your boy Chris Pratt. It was an interview with Chris Pratt and that guy Brandon on comicbook.com, who I love, talking about his potential MCU return. And it was funny because he pretty much it was a joke. It was like, I want to give you let's do a little like hypothetical wager. It's like, what's the probability of you returning to the MCU, and also the probability of him returning doing something within James Gunn's upcoming DC universe that he's building, right? So I just want to read the quote that was said by Chris Pratt, and Chris Pratt pretty much said, quote, "Well, it'd probably make more sense that it would be Star-Lord again." Pratt said in our interview, which you can check out above, which is from the article that I'm reading. But anything is possible, and especially with James Gunn over at DC, maybe there's something that would be right over there. Maybe both. How about both? Let's do both. I think it's 100% both. I quote. So yeah, Rebecca, what do you think? What are your thoughts hearing about Chris Pratt returning to the MCU? Are you willing to see him come back?
I wouldn't be surprised by that. I mean, at the end of Guardians 3, they left open that possibility, but I also think, the way they wrapped his story up in Guardians 3, I would also be okay if he didn't return. Mm-hmm. I don't really know what they would do with it. I don't really see him having a solo movie after this. Yeah. I think he would probably end up on another team. I think he'd probably work better on some sort of team, but I don't really know at this point what they would really do with him that's different from what they've already done with him in the past.
I gotcha. Yeah, I'm also on the same vibe as you. I'm like, if Chris Pratt wants to come back to the MCU, honestly, if any of the Guardians cast wanted to come back to the MCU, I don't think they would ever, Feige or Marvel Studios would ever say no, because I feel like that's stupid. But
they don't know what they're doing at this point. I don't think they're turning anything down.
Yeah, true. But yeah, like you said, because at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, they specifically said that Peter Quill was coming back after we saw his ending. They didn't refer to him as Star-Lord, so I'm curious to see like what path he's gonna be taking in the MCU going forward. Because it said just Peter Quill, not Star-Lord. So I'm just curious about that.
You think they're gonna prequel it?
I don't think so. No, I think they'll probably just do something just different with him going forward. Maybe rebrand him to maybe I don't know. Like I remember John Campbell saying today while talking about the topic, he said, "Oh, maybe they might have him bring part of his celestial powers back to make him stand alone, to make him look useful without being a part of a team." So I mean, it could be something like that. I'm expecting more brief appearances in MCU projects going forward, especially maybe towards Secret Wars, not like a full movie. That makes sense. But yeah, but also just to move on from that. But what are your thoughts on because he said he also be down to something with DC Universe with James Gunn. Obviously, there's been rumors that he's been in talks to come back. Talks to something in the DC realm. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm not sure on that. My gut's telling me he's not. I mean, James Gunn does like to hire his friends, so I could see him coming back in like a smaller role. But based on this picture you have here, I don't know that he's going to be Booster Gold or anything like that. I feel like people also are putting a little too much weight in everyone who James Gunn has ever worked with right now.
Yeah, true.
I mean, they don't even have the first movie out yet, so he might have like a plan, but I don't think it's like all as concrete as people are acting like it is.
Yeah, I gotcha. I mean, I'm honestly, Rebecca, I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid. I'm kind of the opposite.
Yeah, I know.
I would not be surprised if James Gunn wants Chris Pratt back. Obviously, again, because he said James is notoriously known at this point. Well, and also, it's not like a notorious thing because like directors do that all the time. Like Scorsese always he works with De Niro and DiCaprio, and Tarantino always works with so. It's not a new practice, but I would not be surprised that if he gets Chris Pratt back because obviously because the only thing because he got Nathan Fillion to be Guy Gardner in this new Superman movie, which.
Dude, I don't think Nathan Fillion was doing anything.
Right? But yeah, I mean, I would love to see Chris Pratt come back. I don't know who I would want him to be as, but I just put the picture here just because that's just like the common casting right now is that like people just in the room and people think he's going to be Booster Gold, which I think he'd be fine for actually. Like, I think
he'd be okay. I almost feel like that's almost a little too similar to how he plays Star-Lord.
I'm asking, do you have any ideas of like what character you want to see him play in the DC universe? If you would pick,
honestly, I feel like he would be one of those people who plays just like some random cameo character.
Yeah. I think it'd probably a joke character, but like granted, like we've seen James Gunn used a lot of joke characters in the Suicide Squad, which is again one of my favorite DC movies. That he made him pretty compelling, like which I'm talking about, referring to Polka Dot Man, played by David Dastmalchian. I thought that character had no reason to be treated so well in that movie because he's such a joke character. But like I could see Chris Pratt playing a character like that. Hell, make him Condiment King. Screw it, that'd be kind of fun. Condiment King, Condiment King, or like Rainbow Raider. Someone funny. Like just you know what? Here's one. All right, have this man be Kite Man. Kite Man's one of the Kite Man. Are
you doing joke Kite Man or a serious Kite Man?
Joke Kite Man. Oh, do a mix of both. I don't care. Like do a mix of both those tones. But yeah, like Kite Man would be hilarious. I think that'd be kind of fun. But yeah, if not Kite Man, I can see him playing a lantern. Like I mean, like I can see him being Hal Jordan maybe. I don't know
about that.
Well, just me. But besides that, I mean, I thought this was a pretty interesting starter topic to go off of because we all love Chris Pratt. It's good stuff. But any more thoughts on this before we move on to the next topic, Rebecca?
No, I'm good.
All right, people. So the next topic that we will be talking about is also something I found out about today via John Campea, and yeah, it's interesting because there's kind of this Disney's, we watch Marvel movies and Marvel projects, right? Like, leaks happen. We see leaks on Instagram. We see leaks on Twitter accounts, also made by anonymous, dedicated either comic book news or MCU or DC related focused accounts, right? But today I found out that Disney is kind of cracking down a little bit on some of these leakers. And the topic that we'll be talking about next is that Disney has delivered a subpoena to Instagram. And the reason for this is because a leaker leaked something they didn't want to be leaked. I think it was either footage or photos of the upcoming film Captain America, Brave New World, starring Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford. And so I'm gonna just read from the article real quick. But it's just Marvel alleges an Instagram user illegally posted an image from the unreleased Captain America Brave New World film and has gone to court to try to make Instagram disclose the identity of the account's operator. Marvel filed a subpoena request May 7th in U.S. District Court in California, Northern District in San Jose, asking the court to order Instagram to identify the person or people behind which is the account is at Can We Get Some Toast. Marvel alleged that the account published a copyright image from an upcoming Marvel Studios motion picture, Captain America: Brave New World, without authorization. The Disney-owned studio is seeking the subpoena pursuant to the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Reps for Instagram, which is owned by Meta, did not respond to a request for a comment. Yeah, Rebecca. So, what are your thoughts on Disney or Marvel Studios delivering, like, taking actual legal action to like these leakers leaking their stuff? What are your thoughts on this?
I haven't seen these photos, so I don't know exactly what they show. But just like thinking of the MCU, I can't imagine they show anything that's that spoilery, because usually you get, the big CGI ending anyway. I don't know what would be there on set that, like, we don't already know. Like, we have here the first look at the costume. Half the time we get leaks, it's like a Lego set that's coming out or something like that tells us what the costume and the characters are going to be. So I think they're blowing this out of proportion. If someone else doesn't do it, or if they don't do it, someone else is. It's not really Instagram's fault that they're just the platform that it's being published on. But because of that, I also don't think they're gonna, fight for this guy. Really, they're just gonna give Disney what they want, probably.
I mean, I can see where this is coming from, because obviously, like, when Variety or Hollywood Reporter or Deadline, like these official scoopers, pretty much, that we all look towards, movie news. I mean, they do this stuff all the time, but, like, it's just, Marvel and Disney know who they are and know that and know the status of these media outlets, right? So yeah, when it's a account scoop, it's like scooper that they're not familiar with, leaking stuff, yeah, it can be very annoying, but also at the same time, like, it's like everyone's doing this stuff, whether you're at the bottom of the totem pole or at the top of the totem pole. And like you said, like, it's probably stuff that we probably already know, because we have been seeing leaks for this stuff prior to this subpoena being delivered from Captain America: New World, in terms of, like, the reshoots, the various writers changing up the script, obviously the branding name, because this was called a previous title before it was called Brave New World, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a tricky thing. It's a tricky situation, but I kind of think this is a little unnecessary, And yeah, and I remember John Campbell was saying today that there was a point where he was, he got some pics from No Way Home back when all these pics were being leaked. He got these pics on social media, thought they were fake, and then later realized from Disney reps that they were actually real, so then he took them down immediately. But
well, that's part of the problems with leaks anyway. Like, if you have an actor on set, that's like one thing. Though again, I'm not really sure who they're bringing in who would be that big of a spoiler. But I completely lost my train of thought there, so hold on. But I know, I was just gonna say, but it's a leak. If you haven't seen the movie, you can't usually confirm if it was real or fake until you see the movie. Exactly.
But he also did say that, like, Disney does love it when the rep he was talking to asked, it was like, oh, like, he asked him the question, but, like, it'd be really nice to let you get, like, Disney that Disney would take kindly. Where'd you get the information from? Which, again, like, he was like, nah, like, I wouldn't give up a source, because you don't really ask that when Variety and all these other official, like, high-end movie scooper outlets do it. So it's not fair to the person leaking, because obviously, like, you don't want to mess up someone's livelihood that way. But yeah, it's an interesting case, because I've never really, this is the first time this has ever happened from officially, from this high up You know, I don't like. But again, it's such a normal thing now where it's like, you know, just be better at making things lock tight. You know, but again, that's also a difficult feat because things do spill out in film sets all the time. And
yeah, I mean, once it's out there too. You can stop the one guy, but 10,000 other people are going to repost it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting case. I'm gonna actually, maybe we'll probably see how this actually turns out in court. You know, I feel like if Disney wins in court, then it's actually gonna be, you know, it's gonna be kind of a problem in terms of like scoopers and all that stuff. You know, because now they can actually take legal action and probably win. You know, if they win this case, but. Yeah, it's very interesting stuff, and I'll follow it to see what the verdict's gonna be. But yeah, but also while we're on this photo, obviously it's an official photo that they revealed from via Empire, yeah. So obviously because me and Rebecca were talking about this off camera, and I want to give my thoughts on it while we're here. But yeah, the suit for Anthony Mackie's Captain America. Rebecca, what do you? I mean, we already talked about it, but like, let's say for the people, what are your thoughts on this suit? Real quick.
They didn't need to change the suit from the show. The show suit was awesome. It was super clean. I love the design. This just looks like you put Anthony Mackie in Chris Evans' suit. I know it's a little bit different, and I know also we have to sell the action figures, so it has to be different. But I wish they kept it. If they were going to change it closer to what the original design was.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I really hate this suit just because it's
fine. It's boring.
I don't hate it, but like it's just like damn, like what you said, like the Captain, like his official Captain American suit that we got in Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Let's get it right, people. I thought that suit was incredible because I read that run when it was coming out and of Sam Wilson's Captain America. That suit is so clean, it's so comic accurate. Like I love that suit so much, and the fact that they managed to pull it off, because you know people complain about MCU suits all the time being, you know, too over designed, all that stuff. But the fact that they decided to stick to their strengths while making it as accurate as they possibly could, I thought was amazing. But yeah, and this suit just looks again like they just took, you know, just the basic Winter Soldier suit that we got for that Chris Evans wore in that film, and just put on Anthony Mackie with some alterations. But also I feel like they're kind of like, you know, succumbing to all the negative flack from, you know, Captain America and the Winter Soldier, you know, from that series. That they're like, okay, to grab people in, we'll give him a more familiar costume that clearly is a favorite from the favorite Marvel film that everyone loves so much, but we'll do some alterations to Anthony Mackie. It's a little cheap. I'm like, you know, it's just like give us just stick with the suit. Like it's like just stick with the suit that was that banger suit you made the first time. And again, it's like my issue with, like, you know, to rewind the tape with you know, the Marvels. Like I was very sad to see that Kamala wasn't be wearing her suit that she got from that series, that accurate suit that she got from that series, in most of the Marvels film. But again, like they gave a reason for why she got that new suit where she wore that new suit in that film. So, but I want to see that old suit back because I love that suit so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it might be the case too where like he's in the old suit at the beginning, and then, you know, throughout the course of the film he gets the new one. But this design isn't that exciting to me.
Yeah, like look at this shit, man. Look at that. That's Captain America right there. Like, it's just, you know, I love this suit so much, and it's just, who knows? And we could be wrong. He might be wearing this suit in this movie. So there's that. We just don't know, but we're just making assumptions off of what we see. But yeah, people, Disney cracking on leakers, crazy. All right, Becky, you have any more thoughts before we move on?
I'm good.
All right, people. So next topic, now going more towards, you know, some more DC stuff. But yeah, obviously, Rebecca, you're familiar with, you know, the Batman that came out in 2022, which is my personal favorite Batman movie of all time. Robert Pattinson, loved him in the role, loved the world, loved what Matt Reeves did with Gotham and with all the famous Gotham Batman rogues gallery and characters. I loved it so much. But yeah, the fact that there's going to be a spin-off in the works, spin-off television series focusing on one of my favorite characters in the film, the Penguin, who's played by Colin Farrell. Man, he was amazing in that movie. But yeah, they're making a little TV spin-off series, and it was kind of a rumor for a while, but it was another well-known actor who did a DC movie actually in the past. Mark Strong is coming through to the Penguin television series, and yeah, I am very excited to see what's going on. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this confirmed casting for the Penguin?
So we don't know who he's playing, right? We just know that he's cast.
That he's cast, and that's it.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't really have anything to say based off of that. I mean, I'm sure he'll do a decent job.
Yeah.
There's not really anything to go up.
I mean, well, granted, from looking from this article from Comic Resources, they pretty much, what happened was a photo of from on Instagram of Strong's trainer pretty much said that he was, that a fan asked if Strong was training for the role of the Penguin via like Instagram, and he's like, yes, and he confirmed, yeah, I've been training Mark for it. It's pretty much seemingly confirming the casting that he's in the show. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm a fan of this actor. Mark Strong is a very good actor. I mean, obviously I known him first when I watched one of my favorite comic movies ever, Kick-Ass, where he played the villain. He was in Kingsman as well. Yeah, no, I'm excited for this because I'm a fan of his work. And also I'm a fan of just seeing what Matt Reeves is going to be doing with him, in his version of Gotham City.
Do you think he's going to be playing like a named character? Do you think
honestly,
like a goon?
I was gonna ask you this, like, what character you think that he's gonna play? I mean, he could just be playing a goon for all we know. But listen, I'm seeing the bald head. I would be really happy to see this man as Victor Zsasz.
I was gonna say the same thing. He looks like he would play a Victor Zsasz, but who's to say? I feel like they could also go any of the like kind of background gangsters in Gotham.
That's true. I mean, he could. Yeah, he could play. He could be playing Victor Zsasz. Like, I would love to see him as Victor Zsasz. Like, that's like my favorite role. I mean, granted, like, we've seen Victor obviously in previous forms before. We saw him in. My favorite iteration of him was actually in Gotham, in the show Gotham, where your boy's gonna be playing Metamorpho in the new Superman movie that's coming out. He was him in Gotham, and he was pretty much like a second hand to Falcone in that movie, and that show, and I loved him in that. He was also in Birds of Prey, and it was that was shite. I did not like that at all. But yeah, I mean, Victor Zsasz would be really cool. I mean, you know what? Even better, what if he's like kind of he's an introduction to I think he'd be a great Mr. Freeze too. Like, he would, like, what we just see him as like Victor Fries first, and then to set him up in a future Batman film, which I wanted him to be the villain in Batman 2. So like, he would be a really cool, like, I think he'd be a great Mr. Freeze too. I don't know what you think about that.
I could kind of see it. I'm just like going through my head through like white Batman villains he could be.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy because the last time we saw him in a DC project was in the first Shazam film, which I thought he was fine in. So, he played Dr. Sivana. So I mean, yeah, I mean, listen, hey, I'm excited to see what this is. But overall, Rebecca, what are your thoughts on the Penguin show just in general? Like, what are you excited for? Are you like not excited for? Like, what's the deal?
I'm curious about it. I think it's going to be good because I really like the Batman, but I don't know what to make of it just yet. I gotta wait for that trailer to come out and see.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I think they dropped the trailer, didn't they? Like a teaser. I think they did. Yeah, they dropped it. They dropped the trailer or teaser for it, like a couple months, a couple months ago. I thought it was good so far. I mean, like, the cast for it and everything looks awesome. I mean, yeah, I want to see Colin Farrell do more. I thought he killed it as the Penguin in the Batman. So I loved it. But yeah, all right. Any more thoughts before we move on, Rebecca?
I'm good.
All right. So next topic. So, Rebecca, I put this one in for you because I know you are a very big Star Wars fan. I'm also a Star Wars fan, but you're a bigger fan than I am. I feel like. But yeah, Star Wars. Just because you're a Star Wars fan, obviously you've watched The Mandalorian. I've only watched the first 2 seasons. I didn't watch the latest season. But you're aware that they're making a movie, right? A movie that
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone asked for it, but they're making a movie titled Mandalorian and Grogu, and kind of casted a very well-known A-list actress to be in this film. And the actress that they have casted I was shocked to hear about this, but it was none other than Sigourney Weaver being cast in the upcoming film with the well-known loved Star Wars characters. Just real quick, I'm just going to be reading this article from the Hollywood Reporter breaking the story. But Weaver is in talks to join the cast of The Mandalorian and Grogu, the first Star Wars movie to go into production since 2019's Rise of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. The Mandalorian creator Jon Favreau is directing the feature, which is expected to film later this year. Favreau, Lucasfilm head Kathleen Kennedy, and Lucasfilm chief creative officer David Filoni will produce the feature. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I want to read the rest of it, but it's pretty much just more admiration of just this fact that Sigourney Weaver, known obviously for her role in Aliens and various other well-beloved films, Avatar.
She's a sci-fi legend.
Yeah, she's a sci-fi legend, a sci-fi queen. So yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on this, Rebecca? Like, you're excited to see because she's in talks. I don't know if it's like concrete yet.
It sounds like the use of in talks makes me think this isn't like final yet, but it's looking that way. I mean, I love The Mandalorian. The last season wasn't the strongest, but I can still just enjoy it as content, even if it's not that great. Which sometimes you have to do with Star Wars, more often than not lately. But I also love Sigourney Weaver. Like I said, she's the queen of sci-fi. It's always great to see her in a project, so I'd be interested to see what they do with her. I would think if they're getting such a big name as her, that she's going to be playing like a very important role, maybe the villain. I think that would be cool. But like I said, we're so early in this. Again, we don't really know what they're doing, but I'd like to see her kill a Star Wars role.
Just quick, like for just a quick context. Obviously, Pedro Pascal is coming back as a Mandalorian. And I looked at the article. It said that he's filming Fantastic Four first, obviously, and then filming this right after.
He's not even in the suit half the time, though. It's like a body actor, and he just does the voice half the time.
Yeah, which I think that's trash.
I mean, I get it.
I get it, but like,
usually tell, and he can usually voice act well enough that it still works. But
that's true. But yeah, I mean, listen, I just hope that Sigourney Weaver has like a good enough role, because like she's Sigourney Weaver. You know what I mean? Like, give her flowers, and she's doing a Star Wars product for us. Give her flowers. You know what I mean?
She could come up as a cameo and just like cash the check they give her if she wants. But it'd be cool to see her in something bigger.
I would love to see her as a villain, though. That would be really cool. Because the last time I saw her in a pop culture, something recently as like a villain, it was a long time ago now at this point. Wow. But it was when she was a villain when she was the main villain in Defenders on Netflix back in the day. And they shafted her in that movie. I was not happy because I was like I was pissed because they killed her. They killed her off in that movie, and I was like, you did not just kill off Sigourney Weaver when she did literally nothing. Like, come on. But I don't know if I would love to see her as a villain. I want to see her in more villain roles. You know what I mean? Because if you saw her in Cabin in the Woods, like, she can play a good villain.
Well, villain's really the only role I can think of her in, because obviously the Mandalorian's going to be the hero. She could be like a questing partner, I guess, but I don't think she'd have as much of a spotlight then, But yeah, I mean, granted, like I
I'm gonna see how this turns out. I mean, I don't really know if I'm gonna watch this movie just because like I just haven't been really caring much about what Disney's been doing with Star Wars as of lately, because like I was on the hype train for a while, but again, I didn't watch Mando season 3, even though I only watched the first 2 seasons. I did not watch Andor. I did watch.
We keep talking about this. Andor's the one that I need to go back and watch because everyone says it's the best.
I heard it's really good.
Yeah. I just haven't had the time to sit down and watch it still.
Yeah. Like I did not watch Andor. I didn't watch Andor yet, but I still plan on doing that in the future. I watched only the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka, then dropped off of it. I just haven't been having the motive. My motivation for Star Wars has been lost.
A lot of the content that's come out has just been okay. There's some stuff, especially the shorter form stuff, like the Visions, where it's anthology.
Visions is great. Visions is great. I've only watched the first season of that, but like Visions is genuinely really good. But the Acolyte's coming out. We talked off camera about this before, but we're just like,
Yeah, it looks fine. I don't think we'll see if it ends up being good and if people really like it. If that's the case, then I'll probably check it out. Mm-hmm. But as of right now, a lot of the content that's been coming out has just been okay to good. It's been okay.
I feel like it's the same thing with like their MCU stuff. Like Star Wars has kind of been on a slump for a while.
They've just been trying to do too much. They need to cut back.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I would say, I'm gonna say like thumbs up. I mean, because good for Sigourney Weaver. She's getting more stuff. But other than that, I don't know. All right, yeah. So moving on, Rebecca. Moving on. But all right. So this one, I kind of added just because I saw. Shout out to our boy Ernie the Blur Without Fear, because he talked about this on his podcast, The Blur Cave, on Saturday, and it's really intrigued me. But yeah, Rebecca, are you familiar with Tim Seeley's work? He's a writer. Tim Seeley.
Not really. Is this our transition into Bloodhunt, or is this something
else?
No.
This is something else.
Okay.
But yeah. So Tim Seeley is a comic book writer, comic book artist. I mostly know him due to his run on Nightwing for DC Rebirth. I remember his initial run on Nightwing for DC Rebirth.
Is he the guy who draws Nightwing where he's like really pretty?
No, he is not.
Okay, never mind.
However, but like I remember from his Nightwing Rebirth when it started. I remember like that being interesting. But before that, what put me on to Tim Seeley was his book Grayson that he did with Nightwing, where he draws everyone pretty and Nightwing's a spy, and it's awesome. Yeah. So that's what put me onto his work. He also has a book right now that's called Really Good, and like I'm gonna read it again on my own time. But he's done a lot of indie stuff. He's done a lot of DC stuff. I'm also known for his DC stuff mostly. But going towards his indie stuff, he is known for a little book that he did back in, I think in 2012. It was a while ago, called Revival. And to be quite frank with you guys, I've never read it, but I've seen the book on the stands a lot within the past 10 years, ever since around 2012, right? But yeah, so apparently, it is comes to find out that Revival is going to be adapted into a television series. And here's why I want to talk about it, because it's going to be in development at SYFY. And this is where I was just like,
have you done the SYFY rant on the channel yet? I think you have.
We have. Well, before we go into that, let's just talk about the article here. This comes from comicbook.com, but basically it's saying that the Revival is SYFY orders a TV series based on the Image Comics hit, and so pretty much they said Revival is based on Tim Seeley and Mike Norton's comic of the same name, which ran at Image from 2012 to 2017, so a 5-year run. The series is being produced by Blue Ice Pictures with Lance Williams, Daniel Iron, Samantha Levine, Daniel March, Luke Boyce, and Aaron Kuntz all producing. Revival is expected to launch at some point in 2025. And yeah, Revival is just the latest comic adaptation to find a home at SYFY after the cable network has launched shows based off Dark Horse's Resident Alien, which I have not seen and don't really care about. IDW's Winona Earp, which ran for a little while. DC's Krypton, Vault's Vagrant Queen, which only had one season, and Image's Deadly Class, which also had one season. So, and just to give a hint about what it's about, just to give you an idea of what it's about, Revival is set on one miraculous day in rural Wisconsin when the recently deceased suddenly rise from their graves. But this is no zombie story as the revived appear and act just like they once were. When local officer and single mother Dana Cypress is unexpectedly thrown into the center of a brutal murder mystery of her own, she's left to make sense of the chaos amidst a town gripped by fear and confusion, where everyone alive or undead is a suspect. And yeah, that's pretty much the synopsis for it. Rebecca, going off the synopsis, what do you think about this? Is this a show that you'd be interested to watch? The concept?
I think the concept of the dead rising but not being zombies is kind of cool. I haven't really seen that before.
Yeah.
I guess this is the part where we say, this being on SYFY, we'll see how far they get into the story.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right? Like, going off the synopsis and what I watched Ernie talk about, I think this is a really cool concept. Again, I've seen this book on the stands around that general time frame of 2012, 2017. I just never picked it up because I wasn't reading like horror books at the time. You know what I mean? But from this concept, yeah, it's really cool. When you say that you haven't seen that before, I mean, I have, because like iZombie did that. Have you everyone watched the show?
I've seen the poster. I've never watched that though.
Good show, and I didn't read the comic from Mike Allred, but granted, from what Ernie just described it, from what I've done my own research with the comic, like with the people the dead that come back, yeah, they come back as they once were, but like they're still not quite right in the head. You know what I mean? Which again, getting to like more that horror element, and the fact that there's a murder mystery being tied to this with a detective uncovering a murder, but again, the dead are coming back, which is interesting route to take with, like, a murder investigation type of story. Really cool, right? But yeah, this is the part where we get into the rant, because we did do a SYFY rant. If you all want to talk about it, you want to check it out, when we talked about the Deadly Class television show on our Deadly Class podcast, which I thought was a lot of fun, and Rebecca and I we talked about that together, so check that out in the corner. But yeah, listen, I will watch this show because I like the concept, and I will read the comic to prep for this, right? I don't expect the show lasting long. I'm not gonna lie to you. This just because of the fact that it's on SYFY, because SYFY has a history of having literal, like, solid shows that are practically, I think, gems, but they only last one season because
it's on SYFY, which is a cable channel.
SYFY,
and they don't really get views anymore.
Yeah, SYFY, which is a cable channel, a niche channel because they mostly focus on sci-fi and sci-fi fantasy and horror fantasy type of stories, right? But the fact that, again, like we said in that podcast, they don't. It's only North America. They don't distribute outside they don't distribute in the international market. So they're tapping that audience, which again counts for shows, modern shows ratings. And yeah, again because they make shows that are too expensive that they can't really keep up the views with, and they end up canceling even though the show is very good. Like I said, like they mentioned, Deadly Class, again, incredible show, canceled after one season. Vagrant Queen, which a show they did right after Deadly Class, that got canceled after one season because nobody watched it. Winona Earp, which I didn't realize was a comic book because it's from IDW. That actually lasted a couple seasons, not gonna lie. It lasted a good bit. But yet they keep shows like Z Nation, which sucks, for like 5 seasons. The Magicians, which is it's a solid show, but it became kind of mid, multiple seasons. But here's the thing, right? I mean, we talk about that, Rebecca, as well. That they have Chucky out right now, but Chucky, I found out was co-distributed with TNT, which helped its ratings. But I think now they moved over to USA doing the co-distributing now, so that's going.
Either way, having the more eyeballs you can get on like one of these shows, the better. I have no idea what the bar of success for sci-fi is, and how many people actually need to be watching to get a second season.
Yeah. Which is true. We don't really know the model of success here, but like when you're a niche channel on cable television only being distributed to North America and not the international market, that's a problem. But also, as we said before, like a lot of sci-fi shows that get canceled that end up going on to like Netflix internationally do very, very well, or Amazon internationally do very, very well. But yet those ratings don't account to Sci-Fi's cable network ratings, right? So it's still gonna be deemed a failure anyway, even though it's a success on the platform, right? And it sucks because like I love this. From doing my research and hearing other people and Ernie talk about it on his show, I like this concept, and I honestly, it's gonna after we end this episode, I'm probably gonna check out the comic and to see what it's all about. Maybe we might do it on this channel one day if I think it's very good. But again, like I will check this out. I will watch it, but again, I doubt it's gonna get past season 1. I would say it's season 2 out of hope. Know what I mean? But yeah. One season in acts, unfortunately, and it sucks because Tim Seeley is a great writer, and him and Mike Norton seem to be attached to the project and are very passionate about it.
You know what though? Maybe if you're one of these indie authors, getting one season's better than nothing in your mind. Yeah, that's
true. Yeah, at least you can say you had something adapted, right? Not a lot of writers or artists can say that with their work, especially in comics. So. But will you be checking it out, Rebecca? Are you gonna check it out? When it drops?
Maybe. We'll see. Like I said, I think the concept's interesting. We'll see when the show comes out, if it's any good and how long it lasts, like I said.
Exactly, yeah. I'm going to give this, the show being adapted, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Being on SYFY, no. But who knows? Maybe in the future, there may be news where like it also is going to be co-distributed to another network, which may help its ratings. So, who knows?
I don't think it's going to be a big enough name for that. I think the best it can hope for is getting on Netflix or something like that, and that being enough to produce more.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I mean, I'm done here. I don't know if you have any more thoughts before we move on to our bigger topics here.
I'm good.
All right. So moving on, people. So the next topic, now we're moving to our bigger topics for the night. It's this is for me, and I wish Seamus was here because me and him would just nerd out about this for like the next like half hour. But a comic came out, a big essential comic came out last week, 2 weeks ago. A big event it's a kickoff to a big event that Marvel's doing right now, and it's a Blade focus event, which I'm just like, yes, more Blade acknowledgement, because obviously we got an amazing Blade series that just finished last month from Brian Hill, which you haven't checked that out. It's an amazing series, 10 issues, awesome. But Jed McKay, who is kind of the big writer at Marvel right now, decided not only to spin off what he's been doing with Moon Knight and as well as with Blade, what Brian Hill is doing with Blade, to make a vampire-focused event titled Bloodhunt. And it is written by Jed McKay with art by the amazing Pepe Larraz, who, if people who don't know, if you haven't watched our Best and Worst Comics podcast we started of 2023 podcast we started earlier this year, he was my favorite artist of 2023. Pepe Larraz is amazing due to his X-Men stuff, due to the stuff he did with Big Game, with Mark Millar. He's awesome. So the fact that he's doing this entire event is amazing. But yeah, we're going to be doing a little review for Bloodhunt #1, and we'll go into like non-spoilery for now, and then we're going to spoilers for in a second. But Rebecca, since you decided to read this, because I
you can't say we're gonna do a review and I can't not read it, you know?
I mean, yeah, that's true. But I was hoping Seamus to be here, so me and him were going to talk about it. But yeah, since you read it, right? What did you think of Bloodhunt #1? You can just go non-spoiler territory for now.
Well, my first thought reading it was, man, I have not been keeping up with Marvel Comics because I didn't know, like, people were just, like, in situations like, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know why Miles has a sword, you know, like, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I felt like I was missing a lot of context for this, which, granted, it is #1. Anything that needs to be explained, hopefully they explain it as it goes on. I also, correct me if I'm wrong, this is going to be one of those events that has like 1 billion tie-ins.
Not a lot of them, actually. I was expecting a fuck ton, but no, it's a solid amount. Not too crazy. But yeah, you're right. There are going to be tie-ins for this. I'm only gonna read select ones though, because I don't like tie-ins personally.
Yeah, so let me guess, you're gonna be reading all the like Blade's daughter tie-ins.
No, I didn't. I forgot about that shit. Well, I actually did hear about it, so I might actually read it. But I'm only gonna be reading the Vengeance of the Moon Knight tie-in and the Miles Morales tie-in. That's for now. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, talking about this comic without the spoilers, again, it is a #1, so it's mostly just set up for the event here. The conceit is that it's something with like dark hold energy or something like that, and the sun gets blocked out, so it's constant night, and the vampires are attacking. And I guess they have no weaknesses because it's night, so the sun can't burn them.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's really about all you can say without getting into spoilers.
Yeah. At least for me, for you to know, I'm a huge Blade fan. Again, I'm still waiting on that movie, man. It's hurting me. But huge Blade fan. And love Brian Hill's Blade series that he did. It was my favorite. One of my favorite books of last year. Also love Jed MacKay, especially what he's been doing with Moon Knight, like his Moon Knight run. In fact, if you want to read a good ass run, just want to read a Moon Knight run, just cause. Jed MacKay's Moon Knight run has been incredible. It was Seamus' favorite book of last year, and his #1 book of last year, and I caught up with it. It is phenomenal. And he's been introducing vampires in that series as well with Moon Knight. Actually, two of in the Midnight Mission, which is Moon Knight's pretty much his cult. 2 characters, or the main characters, are vampires. And they're awesome. But like Rebecca said, it's pretty much the gist is just various characters that manipulate that are affiliated with the Dark Force energy. So a lot of characters like Cloak from Cloak and Dagger is the Dark Force. The Shroud, who is a character no one really cares about, but is kind of important in Jed MacKay's new run of Moon Knight. It used the Dark Force. It's just basically like dark energy involving like the darkness, pretty much is what this is. They somehow, for mysterious reasons, they explode with energy to the point where they block everyone around the world that uses Dark Force abilities, block out the entire sun. And then vampires are like, ooh, no sun, dinner time. And they all pretty much, they have a massive attack on the Earth's human population, which I think is a cool concept. And obviously various Marvel characters are going to have to stop to get to the bottom of like how they started and what they can do to stop it. And obviously you have vampires, you have Blade, so Blade is going to be a big part of the book. And yeah, and again, various tie-ins, like we've said. Amazing Spider-Man is going to have a tie-in. The Avengers having a tie-in. Vengeance of Moon Knight having a tie-in. Miles Morales Spider-Man is having a tie-in. Doctor Strange, Dracula, which the Dracula is having a tie-in, which is where Brielle Brooks comes into the fray. Venom. They're doing a new series called Bloodhunters. It's a 4-issue miniseries that's going to be a tie-in to this as well. Black Panther, Midnight Suns. It's a bunch of tie-ins, right? But yeah,
if you're in this book, they probably have a tie-in.
In this book, they probably have a tie-in. But like I said, from reading this first issue, I really dug it a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun, especially seeing all these characters being like, holy shit, like especially characters who haven't fought vampires before. being like, oh shit, what do we do? I thought that was pretty fun. Again, like, the only Marvel books I've been reading as of late are Daredevil, who has not shown up in this yet, and he doesn't have a tie-in, so I don't know if he's gonna show up at all.
So he's probably not in this.
Yeah, Miles Morales, Spider-Man by Cody Ziegler, which he pretty much wrapped up his run, and it's phenomenal. And yes, he has a sword. It's dumb, but it's awesome. And there's that, and then the Vengeance of Moon Knight that Jen McKay has been doing, with just as a continuation from his Moon Knight series. It's just seeing those characters interact with, because Miles Morales in his series, he had a Blade crossover in his series with him and Brielle, and it was like was awesome, and he wore a Blade outfit, and I hope they bring that back because it was really fun. But seeing like, those characters that we've have crossed with vampires, like Miles, and not Moon Knight though, because as of right now, Moon Knight is dead in the comics as of right now. But we have Tigra and Hunter's Moon, who is a character that was introduced in Jen McKay's Moon Knight run that ended last year. So seeing those characters interact with dealing with vampires again, great. But all these other characters who are like, holy shit, like, what do we do? I think it's awesome. And also like, seeing like, how is happening, and these new characters that have been introduced in this series, the new villains that have been introduced, I think it's really cool. That's what I got for non-spoiler. I really dug it. I dug it from the three Marvel books that have been, from the two Marvel books that are essential to this, and three, with Blade as well. I was digging this a lot. This is my cup of tea in terms of Marvel comics. But Rebecca, did you at least enjoy it? Like you like from what you read so far from the first issue?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, I feel like I was lost for context because, again, I have no context to what's going on in the Marvel universe right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like it could be a fun event. I like the idea of, do we want to get into spoilers?
Yeah, we could do that. Let me change the banner real quick so that folks know that like spoilers are happening right now. So yeah, let me just do that. But yeah, if you wanna go ahead, what do you want to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the most interesting part in this is the twist at the end that Blade is presumably going to be the villain of the series. I don't really know what to make of that because I've never seen him as a villain, but to be fair, I also haven't read Blade. I've only seen the movies.
Yeah, true. Rebecca, real talk, right? Let me I'm trying to find the page real quick. That like, that was like the oh shit moment. Know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it was the last page of the book. I think that's the cliffhanger thing.
It was the last page of the book. I'm trying to find it just because it's just. But yeah, pretty much it's the when Rebecca is saying the reveal is that Blade ends up like seemingly about. He ends up crossing with Doctor Strange, telling him about the situation, and ends up seemingly reveals, oh yeah, it was me all along, and ended up trying to bite him at the end. So yeah, that was the I was very surprised because I was expecting, obviously Blade doing what he just does best, being like, the good guy. You know what I mean? Like fighting vampires, that's what I thought. I didn't expect him to, be the start of a vampire apocalypse. But granted, I'm like, but that's different. And I'm intrigued to see, what has led Blade to what has led Blade to do this, at this point. I mean, you were saying something?
Well, I was going to say the way they set this up on the beginning, assuming it's Blade talking there, it still sounds like he's going to eventually be killing vampires again, but I'm not sure how this fits in his plan or where it's going, which I guess that's why you have to read the event.
That's true. But yeah, but one of the things I thought was really cool about this event, right, is we actually get introduced to like other than Blade clearly, but the new villains of this event, and it's actually new characters that Jed MacKay and Pepper Lee Ross has created for this event, known as the Blood Coven, and it's some of the most interesting like supernatural characters I've ever seen. But we have Bloodstorm 1, Mengrim, the Cruel, Damascene, Smoke Eater, and Unusual. And they pretty much, there's a scene in the comic where they fight the Avengers, and they do a number on them. They pretty much they kind of do like a whole ambush type deal and do a number on the Avengers, ending up getting Black Panther bitten in the process, right? But yeah, Rebecca, what are your thoughts on these characters? What were your impressions of them, in this event?
I think the designs are cool. They look like video game bosses.
They look like something out of like Resident Evil or like Devil May Cry, and I was like, this is why I love this.
Yeah, I think they're cool. I don't know how well the designs fit against like the Avengers, because it's very, like you said, very stylized. Which you don't really picture when you think of like a superhero comic.
Exactly.
I mean, personality-wise, like I said, it's an introduction issue. They're just generic villains right now, but they look cool.
They look awesome. But yeah, I love Pepper Lee Ross, again, great artist, great character designer. So like I found it like Jed MacKay's like, you know what? I'm gonna just let you cook, bro. I'm gonna let you cook. Go right ahead. It was really awesome to see. And again, they look like these are straight Devil May Cry villains. I love it so much. Very weird and like very just like like just very weird and just very kind of like Dante's Inferno type.
Yeah, they're
like
very gothic.
Very gothic. That's the word. But yeah, it's just it's pretty cool. I mean, who's your favorite like design out of them all? I'm actually curious.
I kind of like Bloodstorm 1. It's like a little generic statue-y, but I think it looks cool.
Yeah, for me, I think it's kind of a tie between like Cruel and like Smoke Eater, just because like Cruel's literally just a being made out of barbed wire and just like what.
Cruel looks like a BioShock villain.
It does, but also like Smoke Eater, I think is probably my favorite, just because like it's kind of like very gothic, very
it's the most classic vampire of the designs.
But when you see their abilities though, of what they actually can do, like when he gets like the multiple arms and stuff, it looks nuts. It looks so cool, and I love it. But yeah, and also here's the page of Blade biting Doctor Strange, the end page here. And also, yeah, Jed MacKay is also writing Doctor Strange right now as well. He's like the Donny Cates of Marvel right now. He's writing a bunch of books right now. But yeah, overall, Rebecca, what would you give Bloodhunt number 1 out of 10 as a first issue to kick off an event?
I would say maybe like a 6. I don't think it was bad. I think this isn't going to be the strongest issue of the bunch. I think it's going to get better from here. But it's an okay setup. It's not the strongest number 1 I've ever read.
Yeah, for me, I would give this like a 7.5. I thought this was fun. There are things I wish they kind of would have cleared up a little. They would have tightened a little more in terms of the story, but I thought this was really strong. I don't give it an 8 because it's Blade. I don't give a shit. But yeah, I like the concept of the event. It's different from what we've seen from Marvel so far. The fact that it's more supernatural, vampire focus is great. The fact that Jed MacKay is stemming off of what he did with Moon Knight, what Cody Ziegler did, showcasing the vampires with Miles Morales, and that crossover they did, focusing on what Brian Hill did with the Blade limited series. And obviously, I would assume what he's done with Doctor Strange, which I have not read yet. I'm very excited to see what he's going to be cooking with this, and seeing why Blade did what he did. Even though I kind of have a theory of what happened after reading Brian Hill's run, because for context, right? Since you haven't been reading Blade, Blade made a deal with Dracula to train him and have him Dracula. He actually drank a bit of Dracula's blood to unlock his dormant vampire abilities. Because obviously we know Blade half vampire, half human. He has all the strengths of a vampire, like super strength, durability, healing factor. But none of the weaknesses, like sunlight, garlic, silver. But like he can't do all the other stuff like shapeshift, turn into mist, like turn into a swarm of bats, like all the other stuff, right? But when he drank Dracula's blood and trained with him, Blade can now do all that stuff now. But there was a little hint of like the last issue of issue 10 of Blade, where drinking Dracula's blood may have also changed him, like personality wise a little bit. Like, you saw him kind of go out of control for a split second when he was fighting the villain of that run at the end. And his bloodlust might have been gone, like a little bit, may have been stronger.
Yeah, his vampire crazy's finally kicked in.
Yeah. So that's my theory of what's going down. But overall, man, I'm excited. I'm definitely going to be reading a lot of because all these times I'm looking at them right now look kind of cool. Like I look cool. Like I'm definitely going to be reading the Miles one. Definitely going to be reading the Moon Knight run, like I said before. The Midnight Sun one, definitely, because I love the Midnight Suns. Yeah, man. And Black Panther and the Dracula one, because I'm gonna be keeping track. You know what I mean? Even though I hate tie-ins personally, but I would also recommend.
This says it's only like 5 issues, right? So tie-ins got to be like a good chunk of the story.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So it's a thumbs up for me. It's a 7.58 out of 10 for me. I really enjoyed this as a Blade fan. But yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. But I also would recommend people, if you just want to go straight into this, they released like a one-shot for Free Comic Book Day, as well as a one-shot called like the Bloodhunt Diaries, I think, which kind of goes over the context and fills people in on like what's happening to prep for this event, which I should have.
So I should have read that before I read this.
Yeah. But you can read it now, so you know about it. But yeah, I'm very excited. But I'm very excited about this to continue reading. All right, so moving on, people. Moving on. So, Rebecca, obviously, we're gamers. We love video games up in here. We played a fair share of Overwatch. Unfortunately,
back in the day. Not recently. I don't want to be
not Overwatch 2. I did not touch Overwatch 2 because I was like, this is just the same exact game, just with different skins, and that's it.
Speaking of,
but yeah, so a game that got a trailer that got an announcement trailer for last month, that is being worked on, that's currently in alpha stage right now, and people are dropping gameplay videos and all that stuff. But yeah, we're talking about Marvel Rivals, which is the latest game that is a team-based. I was gonna say team-based PvP. It's not an MMO, but like we don't talk about the latest team-based game that is dropped. Rebecca, have you been? Because a lot of well-known people in the gaming community, as well as people that got their hands on the alpha, have been dropping various YouTube videos, stuff like that. We personally, again, we're not that high up and that well known to get alpha codes. So we have not.
We're not a gaming channel. We have a few gaming videos. We are not a gaming channel.
That's true. We're not a gaming channel. But granted, it's a Marvel game, so we're gonna talk about it. But yeah, have you been seeing the gameplay for it? I mean, we talked about the trailer off camera, like way back.
I've seen the trailer. I haven't watched any of the gameplay, but going off the trailer, like we were implying here, it just looks like Overwatch but with Marvel characters. So again, I haven't seen the gameplay. From what I've seen though, it looks like it'd be fun, but I don't know if I would be playing it unless I had friends who were like, hey, let's try this out.
Yeah, I mean, for going off the trailer, oh shit, someone is doing a live stream actually, so I might play this in the background. But going off the trailer off RIP that came out last month, it looks it looks fun. Like it looks like a fun game. Granted, it is just pretty much just Overwatch. It's pretty much just Overwatch, and going off of what I've seen of like the different character that they have, like the character movesets, stuff like that. They're doing a lot of the movesets and stuff. A lot of the special abilities are very, very similar to Overwatch. Not gonna lie, but yeah, it looks fun. It looks fun. I think
it probably is gonna be fun. I just think, the time for this game, I won't say it's past, but it's maybe not as popular as it was a few years ago.
Maybe, yeah. I just want to real quick, because I know, like, I'm trying to like look up like the roster, because I think the roster for this game is what's actually selling it for me, because a lot of the characters, they're putting on a lot of like really cool characters for this game. Let me just, and also just real quick, I think what sets it apart from Overwatch, the only really difference is that it's third person, not first person. So there's that. But yeah, like we see some really cool characters that are going to be part of this. Like for instance, from the trailer, we saw Iron Man, we saw Bruce Banner, who has his own like kind of like mode. He has his own character. So like it's Bruce Banner, but you can morph into the Hulk for a short amount of time and then go back to Banner again, which I think is really cool. Like Rocket was in there, Groot was in there, Star-Lord, Punisher, Spider-Man, Storm, Black Panther, Magic, who you're seeing over here, which I think Magic looks hella fun. Scarlet Witch. Yeah, I think the roster for this is what's selling it for me, and also like the character design and the art style. It's more, I think the studio that did this, they've only done really like mobile games, and they do a lot of more like like Japanese, like Eastern style type of mobile games. But I think they're incorporating that style into Marvel Rivals, and guess what's selling it for me. And the game looks incredible. Like so. But yeah, you see here from Magic turning into Wild Child. Like she's turning into a Wild Child. That's a deep cut. I think they're doing that. It's awesome. But yeah, I think the one thing about this that is interesting, it's only PC only, which I think kind of sucks. Cause like if I ever get a PS5, I kind of want to play this. I wish, but alpha stage. Rebecca, from what you see from this gameplay, right quick.
Looking at this, like I said, it literally just looks like you took Marvel characters and dropped them in Overwatch map. It's so blatantly copying Overwatch's whole look, like even down to the UI. It's kind of shocking.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
But other than that, like I said, it looks fun. Like I said, back in the day, I had fun playing Overwatch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, will it ignite the spark for me? Maybe. I don't know. Okay, I don't have a strong ass PC, so I won't be able to play this anyway. Yeah. Overall though, I think this is cool. It's a cool game. Man, and plus, like, I love the destructible environments too. Like you saw that right over there with a storm knocking down the bridge. That's like really cool.
Yeah, that is something a little bit different than Overwatch.
Yeah, there's some tweaks. that they're doing. Punisher's ridiculous because he gets this. I saw this. He has this turret thing. He can just wail at people. He just goes.
Why does he make him so wide?
He's so aki, and like he has like a grappling hook, and his ult is just that like he gets these two miniguns. He just gets hella damage. He can just spray people. He
looks like fucking Chris Redfield out here.
He does, yo. He does. Rebecca, what if you got your hands on this game, which again you have a strong ass PC, what character would you be interested in playing as from the roster they've given us so far?
I don't know. Going off design, I'd probably choose one of the girlies, maybe Scarlet Witch, but I'm also suck at shooters, as you know, so probably one where you don't have to aim as well.
Yeah, fair enough. If you want to see Rebecca try to shoot, check out our Resident Evil vids that we've been doing. Yeah, look, I love her design. Her design is awesome. Like these designs are like really creative because like they're doing that, that manga, that Japanese style of these characters. It's really cool. But for me personally, from what I've seen, definitely I would love to play as my boy Black Panther, clearly because like Black Panther fanboy, obviously. Storm looks really fun. Scarlet Witch looks awesome. I remember seeing her ult. Like her ult is pretty much she just charges a bunch of energy up and she just detonates it like widespread. Like it looks really awesome. Rocket Raccoon. Listen, I think Rocket might be my boy. Like Rocket and Star-Lord are like, that's what like Rocket like pretty much is an assist and stuff like that. He's really cool. Star-Lord he's pretty much like Soldier 76, but like he has Reaper's ult. He has Reaper's ult. I think it's kind of funny. I also want to try Spider-Man out because also shout out to Yuri Lowenthal because he's voicing Spider-Man again. I
forget they're trying to do some sort of swinging for Spider-Man in this, right?
But I've been seeing memes and stuff. People have been saying but it's the swinging is so much better than what we got with Marvel's Avengers. So that's much fun. People are actually like praising how they made the swinging work in this type of game. But yeah, I mean, even though Spider-Man seems like he's like from what I've seen on gameplay, he seems to be the weakest, which I don't like. So, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much who I play. My boy right there. Also, yeah, like some of the characters you see like Spider-Man, he's like wall crawling and stuff like that. Like Black Panther could also like he can like crawl up walls too. No, that's probably who I'd play. Oh, Penny Parker also just looks fun. I'll try all these characters out. But apparently also Hela was a reveal that they dropped recently that Hela's gonna be in the game. And that's one of the fun. But yeah, Loki's in there. Yeah, here's some Star-Lord. Like Star-Lord looks like he's just like Soldier. He's sort of that can
he
fly.
looks like the guy you play when you first get into the game and you don't know how to play any of the characters.
Mm-hmm. For sure. But yeah. Rebecca, is this thumbs up for you? Thumbs down? How you feeling before we move on?
It's like a kind of thumbs up.
I gotcha. Look at that. This is one of his moves. He gets aim assist like Soldier does. It's looking hilarious. I think it's so funny. Yeah, for me it's a thumbs up. I can't play this, but I will be watching my videos on it, and if Rebecca ends up getting a copy somehow in the future, we will maybe do on the channel for like a 1-day live stream or something. That'd be kind of fun.
He's always volunteering me to play games.
It is fun. We love seeing you try to shoot. It's fun. I'm gonna stop playing this. But yeah, overall, it seems to be a fun time. It's gonna be a fun time. All right, so Rebecca, just to move on real quick. So second to last topic we'll be talking about. I actually added this because it's kind of relevant to what's happening this week. But obviously, you watch X-Men 97, right? Clearly, because we talk about it every time we get a chance to go on VC. But yeah, X-Men 97, the latest Marvel show that has been that animated series that has been coming out on Disney Plus, which has had high praise because it's been so high praise that all the YouTube comic book chuds and grifters haven't talked about it because they know it's good and they haven't talked shit about it. So that's how good it is. I mean, I've been watching it. We've all been watching it. I mean, just to say real quick. I mean, I think the show's phenomenal. It's definitely the best. It's the best thing Marvel has put out in a while. Because again, so much love and care has been put into it in terms of the animation, in terms of the storytelling, in terms of being faithful, in terms of like being as faithful to capture that vibe of the 90s television show back in the day. I've been enjoying it. Rebecca, what do you think of X-Men 97 so far?
I have also really been enjoying it. I wasn't the biggest fan of the 90s show. Like, I've watched a few episodes here and there, and I think it's fine. Like, I like it enough. I think I like 90s Spider-Man a little bit better, but I've really been enjoying this new continuation and / interpretation of X-Men. I like that it's a little more mature leaning. It's handling a more serious subject matter. And I think most of the episodes have been pretty strong. There's like, I think it's episode 4 that feels a little bit like filler, and that's kind of like the calm before the storm episode. That's a little bit weaker. I also think Storm's life death thing was a little bit weak, but there were also some good parts of it. But overall, it's been a fun ride so far.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with you. We talked about this before. Yeah, like that. The episode 4 was definitely like a filler arc, pretty much. Jubilee and with Storm's first part with Life Death. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's just I feel like I'm a kid again on Jetix at like Friday nights on crisscross applesauce, rocking on my TV watching X-Men 97, the old X-Men show. Everybody watches because like they capture the vibe so well, but like they've used modern and they've upped the game with modern animation. Because
It's crazy seeing Marvel care about something animated,
right? And so they use the Marvel animation banner, which hasn't been used in years. So like the fact that like this could be like a new age of like Marvel animated content, which is shining, I think, better than what they've dropped with recently with with Phase 5 and Phase 4 is awesome. And I did some research, but Studio Mir, who is known for doing the Legend of Korra, they did the Witcher animated movie that they did on Netflix. They did Voltron show on Netflix. They're like my favorite animation studio right now. They're doing the Devil May Cry Netflix show that's coming out soon, which I can't wait. But they did they assisted on the animation for this, which is why there's very like anime moments in terms of like the action in here, which I think works so well in this. But yeah, I'm loving it, obviously, because me being a big ass Gambit fan, I've been fucking loving Gambit in this shit. Gambit had the most boss arc in this entire fucking show. Fuck Cyclops. Yeah. So obviously, Rebecca, the finale is this weekend. I mean, this Wednesday, right? So in the next 2 days. So I wanted to talk about, what are your predictions for the finale from what we have seen so far? I don't know what you have anything in mind that you think, like, how you think it's gonna end. It's gonna end on a happy note. Is it gonna end on a tragic note? What's the deal? Give me your thoughts.
I think we're gonna get a dour ending, maybe even full cliffhanger into the next season, because we already know a second season's been confirmed.
Mm-hmm. I think a third season's also in development too. Is being written. I don't know if
I'm still of the opinion. I think everything's gonna get fucked even more so than it already is, and I think next season's gonna be time travel trying to fix it.
Yeah, that's fair. That actually makes sense. I mean, yeah, for me, I don't really know. I mean, like, because obviously we're not gonna talk spoilers because I can't make a prediction without talking about what happened last episode. But because last episode we got pretty much the iconic moment in the comics where Wolverine stabs Magneto in the back, and then Magneto's like, you know what, fuck you, I'm gonna just rip the adamantium out of your body. And that's when I was like, I literally sat there, Rebecca, and I was like, I can't believe they're actually doing this. Like, I was like,
sound design when they did that was crazy.
It was like, it grosses you out. It is supposed to be like, it's supposed to be that way. But yeah, the only thing I know for a fact, because like this is gonna be a deep cut from Students of Shield days, yo. But what happens after this, like the product of Wolverine getting his adamantium ripped out, is when we got that second mutation where he was no nose feral Wolverine.
Yeah, I'm good. They can skip that part.
And knowing how faithful they were from being as accurate to like adapting comic book.
Dude, they are not doing that shit. Stories. I'm telling you right now.
Listen, Rebecca, don't put it past them. I'm sorry, but don't put it past them. Like you say that, but like from after seeing all the shit that they've done, that's all these comic book arcs they've been doing, what they've been referencing, don't not put it past them. Don't. I don't want to see it, but I think it'd be hilarious if we did get it. But yeah, I mean, but so far, like obviously, like we're gonna return a little bit of the status quo because obviously we're seeing Magneto go back to being a villain again because after the last episode. I really, really hope that we get to that Gambit somehow comes back to the timey-wimey bullshit. I just want to see my boy again. But I do think that you're right. Everything's gonna hit the fan, and then next arc is like Bishop coming back, and then and having him and Cable and the X-Men trying to fix all the stuff that's happened so far.
I feel like it has to be because they already, like I said, we've already had deaths this season. They've already established time travel as a thing. They gotta be doing something with it.
Of course. But yeah, it's just that is. Seamus, oh my God. He's just texting me dumb bullshit. But yeah, we'll see where it goes because I don't know, but I do think that I think though if our theory is correct and they're going to be doing time travel bullshit to fix what's going on, and also I don't know if you saw in the intro cards, but in one of the we get a little snippet in the intro card where we see Bishop like come back through a portal, and we see the versions of like Wolverine. And I don't know, I don't remember the other character, but in the Age of Apocalypse, Wolverine's Age of Apocalypse iteration. So like,
I missed that in the intro.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to be like, hey, like they want to introduce like the return of like Apocalypse or something to set up like him as the big bad for next season. And I'm a fan of Apocalypse. He's like my favorite X-Men villain. So like I would love to see him come through and see what Bo DeMeo, because he did finish writing the second season, and Marvel Studios is gonna come through. Oh, look who showed up! Look at our boy Seamus. What's up, Seamus?
Just in time.
Just in time, bro.
Hot off seeing Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I'm sorry, Mikey, but I'm very glad I saw that. I'm very glad I saw that. I'm sorry.
Honestly, Seamus, if I was in your shoes and I realized I wasn't paying any money for it, I probably would have enjoyed it too.
It was free, and I actually realized that there's a lot more that I like about that movie than I remember. I was like kind of glad I felt it. Anyway,
I will say this though: I've always said that Amazing Spider-Man 2 has the best swinging that we've ever seen in a Spider-Man adaptation ever.
Dude,
so like,
best swinging, best soundtrack. Pharrell and Hans Zimmer they were going crazy with it.
Yeah,
I was like shocked, and then Harry Osborn showed up, and I was like, oh wait, maybe this isn't a good movie.
No. Listen, my favorite moment in that movie where you see freaking Jamie Foxx in that little tank. And he's like, oh, I'm going to reveal who I truly am. And he's like, who are you? Don't you know? I'm Electro.
I unironically loved his corny shit. Like when he was playing the Itsy Bitsy Spider on the electric pylons, I was kind of like, yo, this is kind of hard though.
Listen, bro, I will always listen. Even though I do not like that movie, I will always defend Jamie Foxx's Electro being great. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, I was actually like, wait, he's kind of cooking. Wait, hold on.
I still think it's so funny that they let him be hot for No Way Home.
Yes, and then they were like, wait, you can be hot and like normal Electro now.
Yeah, listen, man, that was the new Electro, bro. That was the new.
Don't you know he's Electro? I mean,
don't you know he's Electro? Hey, yo, but Seamus, just real quick, we're going into X-47 finale predictions. We will do as tradition, we will do your late to the party recap after this. All right. But what do you have any predictions? Well, first off, what do you think of X-Men 97 so far? And then what are your predictions for the finale?
I think X-Men 97 might be the best comic book related piece of art I've seen in the past 20 years. I am so completely blown away by the show. Because every week, I when I heard this, I was like, oh, that's hype. You know what I mean? I'm excited for that. And I didn't think it would be this fucking good. But I think that, listen, I don't want to speak. I enjoy what Bo DeMeo has done. And we don't know what he did to get fired, so I'm not going to say anything. What he wrote is very good.
Only hams. I think that just.
I people said it wasn't the OnlyFans because they were like, no, it's something else, and they were trying to. And I was like, listen, I don't want to get in. I'm not getting near this.
You don't want to get anything.
Sometimes it's a less you know, the better situation.
Yes, as of right now, in the year of our Lord 2024, in May. He has done great work with this season and presumably the next season that he wrote. But I love the show. But I think that this is ending. This final episode's ultimatum. You know what I mean?
Ultimate.
I was kind of thinking the same thing.
I did not
this is kind of even ultimatum vibes. I don't know, but
they're not. I think
going
that
full ultimatum. My power is also just like flickering. I don't know what's happening here, but
Oh, Magneto's trying to get you. He's getting you.
Magneto's
Electro's coming for you.
Electro's coming for you.
He's gonna pop out and say, "Don't you?"
You didn't know that he was Electro.
You didn't know. But yeah, I think. Listen, I don't think there's gonna be any more big deaths this season. I don't think this last episode is gonna throw a curveball at you, because I feel like having Gambit be the big kind of death that happened, and that being like the big catalyst for the rest of this finale is like perfect. I think you can perfectly end it by just being like, okay, we defeated Magneto and fucking what's his name? I hate Operation. By the way, real quick, I hate that they're making me try to enjoy Operation Zero Tolerance. That art fucking sucked ass in the comics. Okay? And I hate that they're making me go like, damn, I might reread that. And then the other half of my brain's like, no! Slot Fallout, don't do it!
Yeah.
See, Seamus, I think they're gonna ruin everything and go full time travel Band-Aid on this.
They certainly could, and I think that there's a narrow path where they could do that and it would work. But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like if they did that, even as good as it would be, I would still be a little like, well, I don't know if that's fun.
And like, here's the thing to like add to Rebecca's case, because in like the intro, you do see a snippet where it's like Bishop and like Wolverine from like Age of Apocalypse coming through like a time portal, and like that's I wouldn't mind if it was. Yeah, I think that would definitely hurt it, but with how good the writing has been so far this season, I think they can still do it in a way that makes me go like, all right, I'm gonna be okay with it. Whenever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's a good way to like have your cake and eat it too, you know?
Yeah, you get to cry over Gambit's death, and then he's back next season shirtless, talking in Creole and shit. And
and making beignets, like that'd be nice.
Yeah, he's doing a seafood boil.
Oh, dude, doing a crawfish boil. Oh man, in the po' boy. That'd be kind of.
He's out back, just like, oh, I'm back, and everyone's like,
back, guys.
Rogue's still in terrorist mode, and he's like, what happened, Mama?
But yeah, I was also telling Rebecca that like, man, seeing Wolverine get his animated ripped out, we may get to see his feral no-nose form. I'd be kind of unhinged if they did that. Like, I don't want to see it, but it'd be funny as hell.
There's no way.
Funny.
I hope he has bone claws for like 5 minutes, and then they immediately do the time travel thing. That's the only way they're going to get me to like the time travel thing, is if they're like, yeah, actually, we don't want to do bone claws, so we're going to reset that.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, thanks, guys.
But yeah, overall, I mean, I'm excited. I really do hope it's like they're gonna do a fixed version of Ultimatum. That'd be kind of wild. I would love that. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that like either we're gonna get time travel stuff, or they're gonna like set up time travel, or set up like a new big bad. I was thinking Apocalypse, but again, like the Return of Apocalypse, because like I just want to see Apocalypse in
we love
they're doing. So
yeah, he's in the intro, for Christ's sake.
He is. Why? Like I feel like all the intro cards, like they're gonna be brushed up upon in this season.
Yeah,
why would you do it in the first place?
Yeah, there's no way you'd animate them and be like, yeah, anyway, they're never getting used. You know what I mean? Because the only time they animate something to never be used again is when Morph's doing a cameo. Like, you wouldn't put him in the intro just to be like, ah.
Yeah, Morph turning into Hulk was crazy though. That was
I love Morph being a cameo machine.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, overall, I mean, obviously we're excited. We're definitely gonna be checking out the episode on Wednesday. We will be doing an X-97 review. Like, we have to. Like, come on.
We have to.
So you'll get more of our thoughts on there. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. So Seamus, since you are late, as per usual, you got to do your recap. So I will list you on every topic that we have done so far.
I was about to ask, because I was like, I don't remember. I know I saw the list beforehand, but I just saw fucking Gwen Stacy die again. I don't know if I remember a lot before that.
Okay. All right, so Seamus, so real quick, so now we're doing your recap real quick. So first topic we did, Chris Pratt's return to the MCU, as well as possibly doing stuff with the DC Universe with James Gunn. Go.
He's returning to the MCU. What is he doing?
No, no. He said that he.
They're like, are you gonna
will be in the
return? He's like,
MCU.
I don't know, maybe.
But he said 100.
yeah.
He said 100. It was with comicbook.com. It was an interview. He said he's 100. He would 100% most likely be back for the MCU, and possibly maybe just be something with James Gunn in the future for DC. That's what
I assume him saying he's back for the MCU is a Secret Wars 10-minute cameo. Because I guarantee you they got no fucking plan for the Guardians, any of them after Guardians Volume 3. Partly because the MCU right now is in such a state of not having any plans that I don't think, you know what I mean, they have any. And B, I don't think they would want to do anything for the Guardians after how good Volume 3 was as an ending. I think they'd rather just let that stay and be like, hey, let's let people have one good thing for a minute. Instead of immediately trying to make it a Disney Plus show and then like drilling it into the ground. I don't know who he'd be in James Gunn's DCU. I can think of a couple people, but none of them are really like good picks for him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to speak ill of Chris Pratt, but I don't know if there's anyone that he can really nail in that. Like, you know what I mean? Because you could say like, oh look, he's playing like fucking Hal Jordan, and then I'd be like, yeah, I see it, but like I don't know if I like it. You know? I
got you. Okay, well name. Give me like two picks. Who do you have him pick playing in the DC universe? I would think he would be a good choice for him.
I can see him. I mean, listen, I can see it. They could definitely throw him a Booster Gold. I can see that.
That's like the rumor choice. That's what everyone wants him to be.
I can definitely see that, but I feel like that's just too close to Star-Lord. You know what I mean?
That's what I said.
Because Star-Lord is already kind of like the superhero that everyone kind of fits on and treats as not really a hero. And I'm like, well, I get why you would immediately do that, but gosh, dude, if they fuck it up and get him as Batman, I'm killing myself. Gosh, because they're like, ooh, he kind of looks like he could be a Batman type, with his build and everything. So that's like worst case scenario. Is Chris Pratt and Andy said he's Batman?
That's like the dark timeline.
Yeah, so I think it's probably going to be Booster Gold. I could also see him. I think it'd be funny if he played Skeets actually instead. I think him doing like silly, like you know what I mean, as a robot companion, I think would be a little funnier. Because I think he can do. Because he's good at comedy, and I think you should just have him do comedy if you're gonna cast him. I hate how he's doing action movie roles. And he's trying
I'm gonna say what I thought he would be, and I will move on to the next topic. But I said either Booster Gold, but I was like, I would really fuck with him as Kite Man.
Kite Man would be funny if they do a bit. I would love that. He's in the Kite Man in the Suicide Squad, like a Peacemaker cameo. That'd be good.
That'd be awesome. All right, Seamus. So next one is Disney delivering a subpoena to Instagram due to the
that was so funny.
Captain America leaker. It's hilarious, dude. It's so funny.
The leaks are so bad. The feds are getting involved. It's so good. Listen, I think that this is a good thing. I think that we should actually not leak anything anymore. Because not only is it not fun to just see this shit all over my timeline, as much as I try to block it, I just somehow gets to me, whether it's like discussing film, talking about a leak, I'm just like, oh. I think the leaks have gone too far, and also like, do we really care about MCU plans because of how they're getting changed so often now that all these leaks end up being wrong. I mean, like, you remember all those Fantastic Four casting leaks they had for 3 years straight, where they were just throwing every name out there, and then everyone was like, look, the leakers were wrong. And I'm like, no, I assumed they were right at every step of the way. It's just that the plans change so much that the leaks don't matter. So it's like, listen, I think that I don't mind some vague leaks, but I think that the way that the leaking culture has gone around the MCU is like way too far.
You're happy that they're cracking down.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I don't like seeing promotional material 4 years before the movie's even gonna come the fuck out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was seeing that Captain America promotional material like 2 years ago, and I was already like, why am I seeing this? I'm not seeing this movie for 5 years. So I don't know. Good on them. I hope they get fucking My Time to Shine too. That fucker's annoying. It's like a leak and then trying to pump NFTs, being like, buy my Bitcoin, and I'm like, yo, shut the fuck up.
My Bitcoin. while we were talking about it, the leaker was which I recognize is, can we get some toast on Instagram?
Who everyone has like theorized is My Time to Shine's like alt account on Insta. So
okay.
Because you know what I mean? Because they got in trouble too. And even that Marvel Leaks subreddit got in trouble as well, because people just posting leaks on it. I'm like, you know what? Maybe like talk about leaks a little more vaguely next time instead of just dropping leak shit. Like actual NDA breaking shit.
All right,
I miss when I used to go on Reddit and see someone post a 4chan thread that they like translated, and it's like, my cousin works for Mark Webb's production company. This is what's happening in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and it was all wrong. You know what I mean? I miss that culture because that was fun.
That's so funny. All right, so next one is that Mark Strong is confirmed to be in the Penguin Batman spinoff TV series. And who do you think is gonna play?
Who I think he's gonna play? I think he's gonna play. Here's my honest honest to God opinion. I think he's just gonna play like a rival crime boss. I think he's just gonna be, because here's the thing. I know a lot of people immediately were like, "Oh my God, he's Mr. Freeze! Oh, he's Mr. Freeze!" And I was like, hold on a minute, guys. I love Matt Reeves. I don't think Matt Reeves is gonna be introducing anything really major in this one. You know what I mean? I think he's gonna. This is gonna set up for what happens in between 1 and 2. And it's basically going to set up where Gotham is at as a city. Not like, oh, here's a bunch of villains. It's not going to be like a Disney Plus show. You know what I mean? It's going to be like Matt Reeves wanting to write an actual crime drama show.
We were saying Zaz because he's bald.
Yeah.
See, Zaz could work too. I would actually fuck with Zaz. I think he would fit way more in a Penguin crime drama show than like any other Batman character, honestly. Exactly. So yeah, I would like Zaz. You know, I'm a big Zaz fan. Andrew Kerrigan was so good.
Dude, that was his name, right? Because I couldn't. His name was escaping me, but I know he's playing Metamorpho in the Superman movie. But Kerrigan. Yeah, he was great in Gotham. I loved him in Gotham as Zaz so much. Yeah. So see them kind of do like a variation of that, where like Zaz is a serial killer, but also kind of has like his own gang of crazy people that's going against Penguin. Yeah. I think that'd be really cool.
That'd be fun as fuck. Yeah.
Well, I also said that because again, I know you just said it with the whole Victor Fries thing. I said that I would like to see him as Victor Fries first.
See, that's exactly what I was thinking he could be. He's just like a scientist that's on Penguin's payroll who like develops like some new weapons for him. And
exactly. That would I'd prefer, because
Penguin's like, I'm doing a heist and I'm gonna freeze the bank vault, so I'm gonna fucking get this cryogenesis scientist to like help me develop like cryo.
He's using his wife as like collateral or something. I don't know. Like,
Penguin could have his wife. You could do a fun pre-freeze Victor Freeze, and then you'd be like, all right.
Yeah, because I think Strong could play a great Freeze. I would love to see him play Freeze. All right, so next one is Sigourney Weaver being in talks to join the cast of The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Man, I don't.
Just a shake of the head.
I don't give a fuck. Listen, I think Star Wars has lost me completely. And I think the MCU is right there. Like, in terms of, like, I'm about to just drop everything and just fucking quit it. Because, like, they came out hot after Rise of Skywalker. I was completely done. And then Mandalorian came out, and I was like, oh, wait, I'm back, baby. This is hot. And then after like, season 2 of The Mandalorian, when they started throwing, like, Obi-Wan at me and all those other shows, I was like, you guys lost me again. I'm out. You guys are putting out ass again. Relax. Hold on. So I think that I love Sigourney Weaver, but I also know that she can definitely fucking phone it in after watching The Defenders. God bless her.
I told you, Rebecca.
She deserves to pick her battles.
I've seen The Defenders.
And I love The Defenders. She definitely fucking phoned that in. God bless her for doing that and getting the bag. But like, I know she's not going to be bringing her level of her acting level to this as it was in like, say, Avatar 2. You know what I mean? Like, she's not going to be on that level. If she's going to be in this, she's going to be like, yep, I'm Sigourney Weaver. I got to pay the bills.
Yeah, I was immediately thinking Defenders when they like axed her and like, I was like, shit.
Yeah, she was in like 3 episodes as like a weird fucking like CEO, and then she's got axed. And I was like, that's probably what's going to happen in this movie, is that They're gonna fucking have her as like the villain. She's only gonna be in like 4 scenes. She's gonna just be Sigourney Weaver, and then they're gonna kill her. And they're gonna be like, all right, cool, guys.
But,
Yep.
Yeah, I don't really know who. I mean, I don't know if you thought who you think should be playing, but like you clearly don't care. So I mean, it's fine.
I don't
who should
care,
be playing?
and I
We're not
also-
getting into the EU like shit here.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's probably gonna be an original character because they never want to touch EU shit, and EU shit was the stuff that I liked growing up. So it's like, that's why I'm not gonna fucking list out all these random EU characters because, like Jon Favreau and fucking what's his name, cowboy hat fuckhead, like sitting there and just making original characters and being like, I don't believe in it. So I got no dog in this race. I'm done with Star Wars.
Right.
Come back with something cool.
All right. So next one was a revival, the comic book revival being adapted as a television series at SYFY.
Oh, I didn't hear about that, but I'll probably check it out.
I heard about it because Ernie was talking about it on Saturday, so I was like, okay.
Yeah, I only read a couple issues of Revival, but I liked it. So I hope the show's good because I think it'd be a very fun and interesting show to put out. But it is sci-fi, so I'm going to have a level of expectation for how good it is.
We pretty much said that like we're like because I haven't read Revival, but I've seen that book on the stands for years. So like I didn't read horror books at the time when it came out, so I didn't read it at all. But I love Tim Seeley. The concept sounds great, and if there's a good production behind it, and I heard some of the production has worked with him in the past, so from the producers. So like it could potentially be really good. But the fact that it's on SYFY, it's probably gonna last like one season because they always squander their good projects because their distribution is so small. Like that's why.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Where I was like, could be really good. Probably gonna be all right and on SYFY for 2 seasons, and then it's done.
I said 1 season. I said 2 seasons at like max, but like 2 seasons is a bit of a stretch because like it's like they only give Deadly Class 10.
Oh
so, but they gave Z Nation fucking 5. Fuck that show, bro.
Fuck Z Nation, bro. Rip off fucking Walking Dead. Get it out of here.
But you've at least read the comic. I'm gonna check out the comic though. Like I'm actually really curious.
It's good. It's fun. I love Tim Seeley, so I was like, I gotta check this out, and then I did, and I was like, it was one of those ones where it was good, but I also had so much shit at the time that I was like, I'll get to this when it's done.
I gotcha. All right, so the next one was and you can quickly talk about this, but the Bloodhunt. What were your thoughts on Bloodhunt?
Dude, exactly what I fucking wanted. This shit was so good, dude.
It was hard.
Oh, I was just like, because it was such a good day for me to fucking go into Declan's DMs and be like, eat shit, because he was like, no, Blade event was vampires. I don't like that. And I was like, dude, it's Jed McKay written, okay? Dude. Look on the fucking, it's Jed McKay.
Yes, Declan's finding more and more reasons for me to get fucking mad at him.
Yeah, we'll start throwing hands with him at a point. Because I was like, dude, it's Jed McKay. I know you haven't read Moon Knight. I know you haven't read any of his other shit. But trust me when I say that this shit is going to be fucking great. Because Jed McKay knows how to... Because just, again, I'm going to gush about Moon Knight. But how he handles the cast in Moon Knight, I immediately saw... I'm like, this guy is going to be able to handle an event comic. Because he knows how to handle a cast. Mm-hmm. And so that's why... When I was reading this shit, it was like, this is exactly what I saw in my fucking mind's eye. When they announced this shit, I was like, yep.
And you could go into spoilers real quick. Like, what are your thoughts on the twist ending? What are your thoughts on the Blood Coven? Like, anything that stood out to you real quick?
I am a big fan of the twist ending because it was exactly the opposite of where I thought it was going to go. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I was like, but it was in a good way. You know what I mean? Exact opposite of where I thought it was going to go. But I was like, no, this is still like a fucking exciting direction to go in. It's not like an end of an issue page stinger where they're like, whoa, and then you're like, oh, that's a dumb twist, and then in the next issue they just like retcon it and they're like, actually, you lied. So I feel like it changes the entire conceit of the event, and I'm like, okay, all right. So I'm riding with it. I want to collect like all the variants now of the shit because they all look fucking sweet.
They look dope. They look dope.
They're really good, but I'm excited. I might be buying tie-ins at this point. That's how hype I am for this shit.
I'm gonna read them. I'm gonna read some of them because I'm reading. I'm reading Moon Knight. I'm reading Miles. So like, I might read some of the other ones because they look interesting. But like, you know me, I don't do tie-ins. So
yeah. But
yeah,
I will be definitely picking up this Omni when it comes out in like a couple years.
I got you. And the last one was your thoughts on Marvel Rivals since like the alpha has dropped. I don't know if you've seen any gameplay or anything like that.
Dude, I got shit to say about this.
All right, go off.
I might have been wrong. I might have been wrong a little bit. Because this shit actually looks. This doesn't look bad. I might have been a little. Okay, I don't think I was wrong for assuming that it could have been really bad because of the amount of hero shooters that have come out in the past like 7 years since Overwatch dropped, and you got fucking so many of them trying to ride that train, and the addition of a Marvel license on top of that, all of that to me just screamed like cash in. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is like basically a mobile game on console, and I was like, this doesn't look good. This is a little fishy. I'm not sure about how this is done because you know what I mean. It just all seemed a little like. After Suicide Squad, I was like, I don't believe in any hero shooter anymore. Get this shit out of my face. Because Overwatch went on the drain, Suicide Squad bombed, and I was like, let's just stop doing these hero shooters. And then I saw all the alpha footage of it. I've been watching streams of it. I saw like someone go through all the entire character list with all their abilities and like intros and shit, and I was like, this art style looks really fucking cool. And most importantly, every character looks like so fucking fun to play. Even though I'm like, and I think the thing is that they all look like characters from Overwatch, but they all look like characters from Overwatch when they were at their best. You know what I mean? Like I'm like,
True.
Black Panther is totally Genji, but he's like the classic Genji that I used to love to play as when they didn't nerf him into the ground with all these shitty dashes. You know what I mean? Like, and like fucking. Like I was like, holy shit, Star-Lord looks actually like insane to play. Like they might have me reading Star-Lord and fucking game where I can play Spider-Man. Fuck.
I told Rebecca straight up that like because I was playing the gameplay in the background. I think Star-Lord might be my main because I think it looks fun.
Star-Lord looks shit. I think Magneto might be there for me purely because he's like he's just Sigma from Overwatch, and I main Sigma, so I'm like, I could probably already pick him up and know how to play that fucker, but Namor looked interesting too. I wanted to play him.
Forgot about Namor. Okay.
But did you see any of the other characters that were adding after launch?
I saw a little bit of Hela. I saw Scarlet Witch.
They're teasing Hawkeye.
Jesus.
Oh,
we'll see how that goes.
This is the fucking second big Marvel game where they immediately add Hawkeye afterwards. Like, that's going to be hype. Quit it. Stop. Add fucking throw in goddamn, like, I don't know, Beta Ray Bill. Fucking someone cool that we really like. You know what I mean? Don't throw in Hawkeye all the time.
Beta Ray Bill's gonna be sick. I mean, isn't that like one character, that ice character, for Luna Snow? Because she was fairly recently new. So like, if they can add her,
recent, and I'm like, she's already on the fucking roster. They're having one. It was their pick probably because they were like, listen, we want a character that's new that we can basically just make our own without having to be a full OC install. You know what I mean? So they're like, we're gonna pick her, and then we're gonna give her like a whole new set of powers and have all this shit. And I'm like, that's fucking fine. Because no one cares about Luna Snow, and if you make her cool, then maybe people will care about her, which is a big thing.
Alright, so
but I'm like, he's going to Hawkeye. Get him out of there.
Hawkeye, true. Get Hawkeye out of this game.
Okay.
Just real quick before we move on. Last question I'm gonna ask you: do you think, because you play Overwatch too, we don't? So like, do you think this game could be a contender to Overwatch? Because it's a Marvel game that's similar to Overwatch.
I think it's a low bar to be as good as Overwatch 2. I think it's a high bar to try to beat Overwatch 2's popularity, because it's one of those things where that's just the juggernaut of the genre. It's like trying to beat Call of Duty as a first-person shooter. It's like trying to beat World of Warcraft as an MMO. I think that's always going to be the top. This could get close to being popular, but it's tough to beat those kinds of games that just have such like a stranglehold on the industry. So I hope it does, because it looks cool, has a better art style, and seems like they care more than fucking Overwatch 2 developers.
That's a low bar.
It's a low bar. All right. So then that's Seamus's late recap. I'm happy we can do those, because I think it's kind of funny as you just rapid fire.
It's great, because I'm like eating cheese balls thinking about Spider-Man 2, and I'm just like, fuck it. Here's my like, get out of here.
All right, so now you're caught up. So the last topic we're going to talk about people, and recently there's been it was last week, and I think yesterday was the most recent news, but there have been Fantastic Four castings for the upcoming Marvel Studios Fantastic Four film that's in production, that is going to be dropping in July of next year, along with Superman from DC. Oh, comment. And Rebecca says hello. And that's Rebecca. Sarah says hi. Hi, Sarah. And yeah, so obviously Marvel Studios Fantastic Four. Pedro Pascal, Mr. Fantastic. Crap, why am I blanking? You know the deal. We've seen the castings for Vanessa Kirby, as Sigourney.
Yeah,
all that stuff, right? But last week, and I'm gonna do the one from last week first. But last week they announced that high-regarded, well-known actor John Malkovich is cast in a mysterious role. And I'm not really gonna read the article, but it's from comicbook.com that I have up here, but because it's really like, okay, he's cast, and we don't know anything about it. Yeah, what are your thoughts on John Malkovich being cast in the Fantastic Four? What any theories about who he might be playing? Like what's the deal?
I don't know enough old men in Fantastic Four. I'm gonna let Seamus have that one.
I think he's playing the Vulture.
Redemption for Spider-Man 4.
So here, like, that's a joke, but also they could be doing a cameo where like the Fantastic Four are friends with Spider-Man in that universe, and he's fighting, Vulture in that universe as like a quick little like, haha, get it? It's an alternate universe. John Malkovich is the Vulture. Remember Spider-Man 4 that was gonna happen?
Yeah, true. Then they have to get Anne Hathaway as the Vulturess, then, as the Black Cat, like rip-off.
I mean, listen, unironically, he could be playing Johnny and Sue's dad. You know what I mean? As just like a fellow scientist that works at the Baxter Building with Reed. I think that's like an easy one to throw on, because then he doesn't have to dress up as anything. He doesn't have to like do anything. He can just like actually act on screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I honestly think that's probably who he is.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I don't really know. I don't really read as much Fantastic Four. I'm not really that big of a Fantastic Four fan as you are, so I don't really know who. I have no idea in mind that I could think that he can play, but I'm looking forward to it because, I mean, I'm mostly known John
Malkovich. Mailman. I don't know.
Mole Man?
No, they're mailman. Like Stan Lee was in the old movie.
Mailman? That'd be kind of funny.
Mailman.
I'm just mostly John Malkovich, mostly just for his comedy. So like I'm assuming he's probably gonna be like gonna be funny.
I think he could play a really bitchy Herbie.
Dude.
Get him in the voice booth and then have him be Herbie, who's just constantly bitching at Reed and the family.
That'd be so funny. Honestly, like I want him to like take the personality of the character he plays in Space Force and just integrate that into this movie somehow. Per character. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna see. I gotta see more news about an actual announcement of like who's actually playing. But that's cool that he's casting this. Why not? I mean, again, it's another like well-known name into this movie, just to, give it more hype, and boost his profile. So I mean, it's whatever. But yeah, I mean, I have no more thoughts on this. I don't really have anything else to say on it. I mean, cool.
I love it.
See what happens.
I love John Malkovich.
John Malkovich is great. I do like John Malkovich a lot. But yeah, so the big cast that was announced, I think yesterday or today, I'm not really sure. But the big casting, which surprised the hell out of me because I did not think we'd see this character at all this soon. But the fact that we have our official actor who will be playing none other than Galactus and that actor is none other than actor Ralph Ineson, who the only movie I ever saw Ralph Ineson in, and I know because Rebecca was there when we watched it, was The Bewitched, that was directed by Robert Eggers. He was the father in that movie.
Yeah.
And he was great in that film. And he was also recently in the First Omen, which came out last month along with Immaculate. So,
Green Knight. Green motherfucking Knight.
I didn't realize that was him because he played the role
seems
so
like he
well.
does a lot of voice work too.
I think his Green Knight voice is gonna be 1-to-1 what his Galactus sounds like.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I found out from articles and stuff that he was in the Green Knight, that he was the Green Knight, and I was like, holy shit, I didn't realize that was him. And I watched that movie and I love that film. But yeah, Variety broke the article on over the weekend, but pretty much saying that British actor Ralph Ineson from The First Omen and The Witch is the latest addition to the cast of Marvel's The Fantastic Four as a world-devouring cosmic villain, Galactus. And I'm not really going to read the rest of it because it's not really necessary. But yeah, obviously he's going to be joining the cast with the first family. That's Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Professor Kirby as Sue Storm, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, and Eben Moss Backrack as Ben Grimm, along with John Malkovich and Julia Garner as Shala Ball as this version of the Silver Surfer that she's playing, and Paul Walter Hauser as well.
Paul Walter Hauser, baby. My boy.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he's
he got cast.
I've seen him in so much stuff at this point. I can't reference what he's been in. Oh, he was in Black.
He was in fucking Richard Jewell, which was actually a very rated movie.
Yeah, Richard Jewell. I remember from Black Klansman. But he's a great actor. But yeah,
he's playing Mole Man. That's who he's playing.
I wanted to play. He was my first choice. I was like, he's Mole Man for sure.
Paul Walter Hauser playing a Mole Man, because I'm like, that's immediately someone who could pull off Mole Man right there.
But yeah, from this news from Variety, and knowing Ralph Ineson's work, what are your expectations of it? Because I'm very excited, because again, he's a great actor. From what little I've seen him in, he's already has a high note for me because of his caliber of his performances that he's done. So.
I mean, I think this is the type of casting that the MCU needs to go forward with. I don't need fucking like these big name actors. I need weird little character actors that have ripped in little shit that I've seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You need a cast like Glenn Powell as fucking like Hyperion or some shit. I need you to be cast with weird little guys that I love to see.
Exactly.
I think he's gonna. I hope to God that they stick with the fact that there's only one Galactus in the multiverse, and they don't.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, that's what I prefer. That like, there's only one Galactus, and he eats all planets from from various universes, not just one universe. Yeah. He's a multiversal threat, not just a universal threat.
I hope there's a twist. And the twist is that instead of Galactus being the one to devour the planet, Galactus is actually pulling up, and he's like, "Yo, I gotta eat this thing now." And they're like, "Why?" And he goes, "Dude, an incursion's gonna happen. I gotta eat this thing now, or an incursion's happening." And they try to stop him because they're like, "No, you're eating our planet." And Galactus the whole time is like, "Dude, if I don't eat this planet, then 2 planets will die. You gotta understand, this is fucked up for me too." And then they stop him. And he's like, you know what I mean? They just defeat him, and then the incursion starts happening. And Galactus is like, "I fucking told you!" And he just dips into another universe. You know what I mean? And then the Fantastic Four follow him to like the MCU universe.
That would be interesting to have it incorporated into like Sigourney's being like, yeah, actually, he's actually eating planets because he's stopping incursions from happening.
He's trying to stop incursions, and that's why he's
a necessary evil. That'd be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool. I don't think they're gonna do that, but that would be cool.
No, it's almost too smart for them to do. It's like too fun. And it requires too much planning for Secret Wars to have him do that.
But yeah, Rebecca, do you have any thoughts on Ralph Ineson as Galactus?
Not really. I think he's gonna do a good job.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna do a good job. Definitely a character actor. So like, obviously, I hope that Marvel Studios and Feige allow him to at least have fun with the role, have him make the character his own, as well as keeping him accurate to the source material as much as they can.
I think it would have been super uncomfortable if they got a recognizable face as Galactus, because Galactus is kind of supposed to look like Galactus and not like Antonio.
Well, do you think they're going to have him in the suit, or do you think it's going to be full CGI and he's just going to do the voice?
I think they might put him in a little bit of a suit and then CGI him up to make it
look
like
I think they'll do what they do it in Moon Knight with like with Towerette and with Khonshu, where they have an actual actor in the actual costume with a head positioned to where the actual island of the actual CGI characters are going to be at, so it's easier for them to reference the lighting, the texture, because they actually have practical stuff for that scene already shot. That's what I hope they would do, but yeah, I mean, listen, I think it's I'm kind of a little bummed that we're getting Galactus this soon, because I wanted them to start small and work their way up, but
no, hold on, I'm okay with this as long as they portray him as a force of nature. Yeah. And he doesn't die this movie, I'm completely fine with this.
He doesn't die this movie.
They can step up, they can do levels, they can do Annihilus and then Doom. You know what I mean? They can do that shit. They don't have to, because I'm okay, we're not starting with Doom. Thank the fucking Lord. We're starting with Galactus. I don't mind if you bring out some Ultimate Nullifier bullshit and do a quick little you know what I mean? But I think he is a cool threat that you don't have to build up to, because kind of the point of Galactus' arc is that he pulls up and then they do it. And that's why it's so fun when Galactus pulls up, because that uncool. Where you're just whoa, hold on, what the fuck?
Yeah. So, okay.
I like it.
All right, so I mean that's all I gotta say. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Again, I really hope they just let this man cook, because again, he's a very, very, from those 2 movies I've seen him in, he's a very, very good character actor. So let him cook and let him make this character his own. And I'm very looking forward to see what his role is going to be in the movie going forward. I hope they do, make him a force of nature and a multiversal threat that can tie into Secret Wars a little bit. You know what I mean? That'd be really cool. So overall, people thumbs up, thumbs down.
I love it.
For me, I love it.
I'll thumbs up.
I love it, boy.
All right, yeah. So that's pretty much it. So we're gonna go into recommendations real quick. I'm gonna go last, because I think I should go last. But
all right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna use my recommendation time real quick. We're gonna do a quick segment, Mikey, me and you.
All right.
I don't know, because I don't know if Rebecca's read any of this. I want to do an Ultimate Universe check-in. How are you liking Ultimate Universe so far? I want to hear your thoughts. Because there's only 2 books out right now, so it's a little quicker.
The most recent issues, or that we've had so far?
You can talk about most recent issues or the books as a whole. You can do either or.
Okay, so I'll say Ultimate Black Panther so far I'm liking it a lot.
Yep.
I have to remember what happened. So we're on issue 3 of Ultimate Black Panther, I think, right?
That was when Storm and Killmonger were bringing Black Panther into the cave and talking to him about all that stuff.
Yeah, I was really cool seeing the fact that it's the first time Storm and Black Panther interacting is very interesting and very fresh. Killmonger is really, I like Killmonger being kind of like a freedom fighter, and also the fact that him and T'Challa are actually developing a friendship first, and that will I hopefully last a long time, because I like brotherly love Killmonger T'Challa relationship in this, if it works. The stuff with Okoye and Shuri going at odds with each other in Wakanda, I think that's really interesting. So Black Panther so far is dope. Want to know what's in that cave, because I didn't really get what was happening, but with the cave stuff, but obviously going to reveal that later. Also, X-Men, I think we only had that second issue, so that's fine. That's only 2
I think 3 just dropped last week, but I haven't read it yet, so we can start. I haven't read it yet either.
So from what I've seen from X-Men so far, it's really cool. Peachimoku is killing it. The art style is great. The manga look is awesome. I love how the fact that they're doing different versions of the characters of the X-Men, but reimagine characters of the X-Men, but focus in Japan specifically. Awesome. That version of Charles Xavier that was in the second issue was hilarious, and I didn't catch it at first. I didn't catch it at first when I read it the first time. You two told me about it. I was like, oh shit, okay.
Because I was literally dude, look what that kid's doing. He's in a dark room with a bowl over his head. They're doing a Japanese Professor X kid.
Exactly. that was cool. What's it called? Ultimate Spider-Man. The recent issue for it, I thought was awesome. Oh shoot, I thought it was awesome. And and yeah, like the reveal with Gwen Stacy was really cool. And the fact that yeah, Gwen is, you know, Harry's wife. Yeah, Harry's wife, and how they're and that introduction of, like, you know, because this is we're used to Gwen being the first love, not, you know, someone else's in some, not, you know, somebody else. That was really awesome. I love that a lot. And the fact that, like, you know, that Harry is the one that gives Peter the whole great power comes with responsibility line, that was
and I love
really
that
good.
shit. I love how the whole fucking issue was just a dinner discussion, and I was like, "This rips. This is so good." It's just people talking, and I love it.
I didn't get a chance to read the free comic book day trial that they dropped, but so far All the Universe has been amazing. I've been loving it so much.
The free comic book day drop, I was like, dude, there was like a whole section where they just walked through characters who are not going to be in this universe.
Yeah.
They're literally like, hey, look, it's the mangled body of the sunscreen. Hey, look, Vision's dead. And it's all the new Ultimates walking through and talking about the destruction of the make of this class.
I'm very interested in the. I'm definitely going to be intrigued by the new Ultimate book, the new Ultimates book that's coming out.
Because it's Thor, Cap, Iron Lad, technically.
Iron Lad, and then
technically as Tony Stark Iron Lad, and then
Sif, and then
Reed
Sif.
Richards, Doctor Doom, in the background.
That's Reed Richards, right?
Yeah, Reed Richards, Doctor Doom is there, and I'm like, yo, this is
and then Lady Sif, and then Lady Sif as well,
and I'm like,
then
this is kind of a solid team.
and then Hank Pym. But
Ooh,
yeah,
can we stop putting Hank on books, please? Can we just get him out of here?
well, I don't know if it's Hank Pym.
No. Put him on one book, and then bring back Avengers Inc. and continue that fucking story, okay? Because that was going hard for those like 4 issues that have been out.
I gotcha. But yeah. Rebecca's having technical difficulties, so that she won't be here for when we close out. For me though, I actually have like 3 recommendations because I was like, honestly, been for the past like couple weeks that I wanted to recommend. My first one is I definitely want people to watch Dead Boy Detectives show on Netflix. I binged it in 2 days. It's one of my favorite shows of the year. I love Dead Boy Detectives a lot. If you guys don't know, it's the spin-off of the critically acclaimed Sandman series on Netflix. Focusing on 2 boys, two teenage ghosts, one that died in the 1910s, one that died in the 1980s, and they pretty much become best friends and a detective duo solving supernatural crimes in the Sandman universe. And it is so much fun. Like, Sandman was a very dark and very, like, you know, serious and fantastical type of tone. This one is a lot more of the more coming of age, mischievous, like adventure-y, like fun tone. And that was so much fun. The characters, the world, like, again, it's a lot of the fun. It's a lot of the fun that you could expect from like the Dead Boy Detective stories from the comics, but also like the very, very well done character study that we've known from Neil Gaiman's comics and writing style, as well as from the Sandman television show that they did so well with. Seamus, have you checked out Dead Boy Detectives at all?
I watched the first episode with my mom, and we both really fucked with it. I liked it. I like the change in tone. I think it's a very good change of pace, so you're not constantly getting like Sandman levels of depression.
Exactly. Dead Boy Detectives. I mean, I highly recommend it. I wanted to do a review for it, but I don't know if we have time for it. But for me, it's like it was an 8 out of 10. I love this show a lot. I'm probably gonna rewatch it because I loved it so much.
Nice.
The second one was I mean, obviously, because today was a monumentous occasion because our Lord and Savior Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover, dropped his album Ada Vista last night, and I listened to it all, and I loved it so much. I've been waiting for this album for years. I've been waiting for that one song on the album, Human Sacrifice, to drop ever since he did that stupid Google Play commercial.
That fucking, like, that completely like it was like unproduced, and it was like they all were just like the titles were all dates, and it was like over COVID, and I was like,
yeah,
what's this guy doing?
Well. So yeah, he pretty much said that like this album is the finished version of 3/15/20, which he dropped during lockdown. But I'm referring to the song that he dropped on there called "Human Sacrifice." That I heard that song in a Google Play commercial he did back in 2019, and it was unfinished. It was a snippet. And I heard it once. I was like, "This is the best thing I ever heard in my entire life." And like I've been waiting for him to drop it for years. You could only listen to it live when he did his previous tour. So he finally dropped it. I lifted out of my bed, bro. I was elevated. That song is incredible. But overall, this album, seeing the finished versions of the songs he dropped during lockdown for 3/15/20, they're so good. They're so good. For me personally, I don't really like Lil for Bigfoot that much, but I think the video was great. But yeah, people, listen, bro. If you're a Childish Gambino diehard like me, you'll love this album. If you've never heard of his music before, just check it out. It's generally a really well produced album. Seamus, what are your thoughts on it so far? I know we were talking about it off camera before.
I loved it. I fucking loved it. It was that. To me, personally, it's as good as Awaken My Love. Honestly.
I think so, too.
I think it's really solid. I understand why he took so long to put this out, because I think he was really polishing this shit, because the step up from the pre-release thing he did over COVID to now is so noticeable, and I think these tracks like went up another level. I think my favorite track is probably The Violence. I fucking love that one.
That one is good. That one is good.
But yeah, I really fucking love this album, and it was a very nice surprise to wake up to this morning. And part of the reason why I went to go see Spider-Man 2 was I got to bump Ada Vista in the car while I'm driving there and back.
That's so funny.
I was like, oh, I get to use the car speakers for this stuff.
That's hilarious. But yeah, man, Ada Vista, definitely a must listen. It's already my favorite album of the year just because I just love Childish Gambino so much. My last one is actually it was actually a comic. It's actually a back issue because I've been reading the back issues of this series quite recently. But I wanted to, and I was talking to Seamus about it like last weekend. But I wanted to recommend the Abnett Guardians of the Galaxy run, because I just started to read it. I started to read the omnibus digitally, and dude, man, this book is amazing. I'm like halfway through it. But I've been wanting to read this book for years, but I just couldn't really I just hadn't really found the time to read it. But I decided to read it recently, and I really, really love this version of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I can see why James Gunn wanted to adapt these specific characters, because they're so well done and just like they're a lot of fun. I just love the fact that like, because the omnibus starts off with the Star-Lord one-shots that occur during Annihilation, and they pretty much were like, yeah, like the Guardians of the Galaxy were set up to be just like a Kree version of the Suicide Squad, and then the actual team actually like forms. But yeah, bro, I love this, and yeah, the Abnett and landing run of this is incredible, and if people can pick it up, there's an omnibus for it right now. And yeah, what are your thoughts on the Dan Abnett run of Guardians of the Galaxy?
It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite comic book runs of that time. And I think that's it. This is the shit that really made Guardians possible to be adapted into the MCU, because it's basically what laid the groundwork for the MCU. Because without it, all you have is like the 80s Guardians. You know what I mean? You're like, who about those guys? But I think it also has. They're some of my favorite costumes in comics. I think all the Dan Abnett Guardians costumes are just so sleek. I
I really wish they kept them for the Guardians now instead of trying to do the MCU kind of costumes that they're doing. But
Yeah, for me, like Peter Quill's, this version of Peter Quill as Star-Lord, his costume is like my favorite costume for the character. I was very pissed to see, like, especially when the movie came out, that he wasn't gonna be in this costume. But like, I like the fact they brought it back without the helmet, though, unfortunately, with Guardians 3. But yeah, Peter Quill Star-Lord, this is like my favorite costume in like, I think in comics. It's so awesome. And also you have, like, you know, Drax and Groot, and you got characters like Falavel as Quasar, and then Adam Warlock in here, and Gamora. But yeah, this one of the Guardians is incredible, and like, I honestly, like, if 23 years down the line, if they decide to do a reboot of the MCU, just like bring the Guardians back, bring them back like this, please.
Yeah. I bring Star-Lord back looking like this with his mask, please. I need that fucking helmet, bro, on him.
Dude. Yeah, but this book has great action. It's hilarious. It's very funny. It's very kind of like a procedural, like, because you have like events happen and like these interviews that happen within each Guardian of like what happened, like of the events occurring in between, like what's going on. I think it's so funny. It's so good. A lot of fun. Yeah, what were you saying? I'll cut you off.
Oh no, I was just saying. I think Dan Abnett's fucking run on this was so much better than fucking, because the only two Guardians runs I can remember are his and Bendis's, and I was like, I just remember this one being so much better than Bendis's, because it was like, oh cool, this one's actually trying to be its own thing and be like a comic book. And Bendis's, I was reading it and I was like, this is MCU Guardians. It's already ruined.
Exactly. Yeah, like I feel like that's what kind of like turned it off for me a little bit, is because like this one always seemed to appeal to me more just because it looked so awesome and just different from everything I saw like Marvel Comics at the time. But then like the new Guardian, the Bendis run of Guardians, was just pretty much just like, yeah, it's like, hey, like the movie's great and successful. Let's like make the Guardians assimilate to that, where I think kind of hurt it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, those are my recommendations for y'all to check out. Guardians, the Dan Abnett, the Abnett Landing Guardians of the Galaxy run. Dead Boy Detectives on Netflix, and the Ada Vista by Donald Glover. Y'all should check all those out. But yeah, Seamus, that's pretty much it. So we'll just close it out. So thanks for everyone who are watching this or will watch this. We appreciate the support. Definitely leave a comment down below. What are your thoughts on any of the topics we talked about? What are your thoughts on Galactus, Marvel Rivals? You know, all this stuff. We want to hear what y'all think in the comments in the comment section down below. Comment, like, subscribe. Check out all of our other content that we've been dropping. Check out the latest episode of Deadly Class that we've been talking about. Check out the Rodney Barnes interview we just did. Check out the Transformers series. Check out the other Indie Corner After Dark. Check out all the interviews that we've done. Really appreciate the support. And yeah, as always, get home safe. Be on the lookout for more videos. Click on the notification bell so you know when we get more videos coming soon. And as always, get home safe, and we'll catch y'all next time. All right. Peace.